There's a gay Zach and a straight Zach. I only remember gay Zach.
Well, then wasn't there a Zach that was like a motorcycle guy?
Yeah, I guess for a while. Yeah, I guess.
And you joked that you called them straight Zach and gay Zach
to
differentiate them because I think their names were.
I'm gonna get Zach to fucking change his fucking screen name to gay Zach. It'd be awesome.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
So hi everybody.
You get all kinds of fucking offers from dudes.
We're reading all the comments like while we're sitting here waiting to start the show, so it's just
going like, Tom, we're gonna wear one of his black T-shirts or something. What the fuck do you expect I'm gonna wear, man? All our clothes are black. All my clothes are black.
Pretty much.
If I don't have, if they're not black, there's some kind of motorcycle gear and that's black, or I have some kind of military gear and that's like OD green. I got field gray and fucking coyote. I got shit like that.
Yeah, we don't wear colors.
We don't wear colors, man.
Not really. I mean, this is kind of green, like what I have on, but it's green with black on it.
Yeah, green with black and stuff. So, I got her some colors, but they're mostly
very
subdued colors. Very subdued colors.
I'm not into like cuts. I don't know, man. It's like I've worn white on occasion. Like I have a couple of kind of gothy dresses that are white, and some of them look good, but in general, I don't really like light colors. I think they make me look 5 feet wide, to be honest with you.
On shows that we were going out, I was wearing what I was going to go out in that night. I'd be wearing fucking PVC fucking bondage fucking shirts and translucent black so you can see through it. Shit like that.
So you could see some Tom nipple.
See them fucking Tom breasts. Yeah.
Tom breasts.
I got glasses. I got good glasses.
Yeah, he went and got his new glasses today.
Yeah. Got my expensive glasses.
Expensive.
Yeah. Titanium frames.
Them fancy glasses.
These are a $500 pair of glasses.
Are they really?
That's what it costs to get all the prescription done. Progressive lenses.
But you went to Sam's, right?
Yeah.
That's where you usually
went to the optometrist there, and they did the whole eye exam. Updated my fucking prescription. And I got a pair of those fucking titanium glasses.
I think they
because I break all the fucking regular steel ones. I'll break them quick.
Well, to be fair, you break them because
I'm rough with everything.
Well, yeah. You leave them on the bed and then you come and sit on them.
Yeah. Well, I fucking just pull shit off, just like this.
Or pull them off like that, or you put them on the floor and you step on them, or something like that.
Put them in my pockets, or roll over on them. I do all kinds of stupid shit. I forget about it.
And sometimes I think probably Pookie sits on them. Maybe. Which I don't know if that would break them. She's not that heavy.
Yeah. So I put this on, all of a sudden I could see real clearly. Everybody started looking ugly. I go to Starbucks, everybody looked ugly.
Even me?
No. But I'm just saying that soft beauty filter wasn't there anymore.
See, that's one of the. That's the only good thing about not being able to see all that good.
Yeah.
Is everybody looks kind of nice, like
yeah.
You know, like back in like the softcore porn, like from the 80s and 90s, where they just kind of like smear Vaseline on the lens or something like that.
Yeah,
so everybody look kind of all soft focused.
Yeah, even like fucking teenage girls that look at him, they fucking look hard as hell. I have to take the glasses back off and go, okay. You look a lot cuter, baby. Put that shit on, you go,
you look a lot cuter.
That's bad skin, man. Yeah. Zits and shit.
Well, it's just kind of like how everybody looks good at the club, like with the lights are out. But like when the lights come back on at the end of the night, everybody's looking all like all fucked up and everything. Yeah. Not so I don't look too bad, I don't think, like when the lights come on, but
we're usually out of there by the time the lights go on.
Yeah, we're not dumb. We don't say that. Except when he's drunk and all their fucking makeup's running and shit like that. But that's pretty funny that you're like now we don't see him like now everybody looks like shit. Well, it's just kind of the thing where maybe some people like, for example, like porn in HD. I don't really need porn to be in HD. That's fine. I don't need to see every pore on I don't need to see their fucking shaving bumps and stuff like that.
It's HD.
Nose hairs. I don't need to see that.
It's HD, but it's filtered.
Yeah.
It's got to be. They're using beauty filters and fucking color adjustments and shit like that.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. Psycho said, I sleep with mine in all the time. Never had a problem. Not good long term, but here and there, not that big of a deal.
You're talking about contacts.
Oh, yeah. I have not. Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't wear contacts. I just wear the colored ones. I don't think. I mean, I can't really see either. I'm still doing okay with reading glasses because these are just reading glasses. But eventually I'm gonna have to go to an eye doctor and get like some real glasses. But the thing about it is that I know contacts are in some ways less of a hassle, but I really don't like the idea of having to like put shit in my eyeballs like all the time because I have a hard time putting them in and taking them out.
It's like anything else.
I know you'd get used to it after a while, but
yeah, I used to be afraid of needles. I can now inject myself with anything. Yeah. You know, when I was in the army, I'd give myself an IV, but it was scary. I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Give other people IVs, but which is harder because you got to catch a vein. But you know, now that I just inject shit regularly, I remember my dad he was injecting insulin, you know, because he was a diabetic, and I'd be like, oh man, he goes, oh no, it ain't bad. You just get used to it.
Yeah, because you were kind of grossed out at the beginning, like weirded out by it. Because I think even like when I first met you, like you didn't even like watching it like in movies or anything. You were like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like it didn't really bother me, but
yeah. Now I'll shoot up.
Yeah, now he's just like, boom.
Yeah, it gives it. Yeah,
right in his leg. He's done
this one's gonna be
in his chest.
Yeah,
his stomach.
Grab some titty and fucking inject that shit down in there. Yeah.
Like you said, once you get used to it,
yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't really bother me because it doesn't feel like anything. So, because he sticks me full of needles all the time.
Yeah.
We're not heroin addicts. We're just like
just hormones and fucking other shit that we take.
Steroids and stuff.
Steroids and shit. Yeah. We do hormone therapy.
Yeah.
So you can't be built like this at 55.
CB said if I looked like Tom, I wouldn't be wearing clothes.
Yeah.
And Tom's gonna should start doing the show naked. You could be streaking through the back. That'd be super funny. That'd be super funny.
Yeah, if I could take my fucking pants off,
I've done that
on the show before.
Yeah, you have done that on the show before.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you ever took your underwear off.
No.
That I remember. But you have taken your pants off.
I usually do it for fucking, super chats.
Like turn around,
done it in a long time.
Start twerking or some shit like that. We'll see how it goes. We might get enough alcohol in there.
Yeah.
We got a whole big bottle of vodka in there that we need to get through. We're not going to get through it all in one night. We're drinking rum right now. We're just drinking the last of the rum.
Finishing up the Bacardi.
CB said, Jenny, you can't look ugly on a bet. Aw, that's so nice of you to say. I think I look okay.
Jen's looking good.
When I'm put together, when I'm dressed and have makeup and stuff. But man, if I'm not going anyplace or if I don't have any Zoom meetings or anything, I'm not putting fucking makeup on or a wig or nothing.
Jen's making a serious comeback, though. Jen's making a serious comeback. I got that gym set up. She's fucking doing good in the gym. And, fucking... I don't think I've actually seen her legs look as good as they do now. Legs and her booty. It's good.
My calf muscles are like hard as a rock.
Yeah.
It's all those squats and all the fucking that stupid leg machine.
The only thing weird about Jen is Jen's got big cheeks. She's got big cheeks, and it's just natural. That's where she puts.
Just call me chipmunk.
She just gets these big but she got that from her mom. Her mom's got big cheeks too,
and all her sisters do as well.
Yeah.
If only I could store food in there, probably.
Yeah.
Like a squirrel.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I got nothing here. I got like all kind of trail mix.
Yeah.
Cupcakes.
Yeah, she's got cheeks, and she puts weight on basically only around her waist.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of strange.
It's kind of my curse.
Yeah, it doesn't go around. It doesn't go on her ass.
I wish it would. I keep telling it to.
Yeah,
but
you have to
my body doesn't listen to anything
No.
I say. It does whatever.
Just
it
put
wants.
muscle there. It's coming.
It does whatever it wants.
Yeah. Yeah, she was wearing fucking bell bottoms to the club last night, and fucking my gay friend Toby's sitting there looking at her ass, going, God.
Last week.
God.
Every time he walked by, he kept feeling my
he'd grab it like that. You know what I mean? I let him do it. I let my gay friends grab her. I wouldn't let a straight guy do it, but he was like, God, God.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Toby doing it.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm kind of used to it. But yeah, every time he walked behind me, he was like, and I was just like, is that right?
He walks behind me and does shit
That's what I mean. It's like that. It doesn't really
That's the shit he does. He's just getting fucking drunk, getting wild.
And I was like, hey, man, it's like, if my butt looks good enough for a gay man to notice, then...
Yeah. Well, he'd tell me, because,
it must be looking pretty good.
God, man, her ass, man. Because it's different now. I said, yeah. Yeah, he goes, I know. I noticed. He's going, I noticed. Yeah.
I had good pants on, too.
Yeah. What's that?
I had good pants on, too. I had, like, flattering...
Yeah, real flattering pants.
Pants on.
All that shit matters. Oh, we've got a super chat.
Thank you very much, Burley, for the super chat. First super chat of the evening. Yeah, Burley's also talking about contacts. That I had a girlfriend that didn't take out her contacts for like 2 months.
Damn.
She was afraid to touch her eyes. I had no idea what to do. Yeah, I remember one time, like...
You're supposed to burn your eyes up if you do that.
I know, right? I had
Bacteria forms.
Remember a few years back, we went to the vampire ball.
Yeah.
At the castle. And I wore these red contacts, and I'd never worn them before. Like, they were brand new. And, I had them in the solution and all that other kind of stuff. And I put them in, and it was fine. And then 2 or 3 hours into the night, they started really hurting my eyes. And by the time we left, I could not open my eyes anymore. They were just streaming.
Well, didn't I pull them out, though?
Jen pulled them out.
Okay, yeah.
Because she wears contacts, so she's like, I'll get them. I was just like, oh, my God. I was like, because I couldn't get them out, you know what I mean?
They're easy to get out of other people.
Yeah, because I have a hard time putting them in and taking them out.
I can touch my eye to pull them out. I have a hard time touching my eye to put them in.
Yeah, well, see, I don't care about touching my eye. Like I said, it's like I don't have an issue with touching my eyeball. It's just that putting them in, I always have the problem where it doesn't want to go in my eye. It just wants to stay on my finger.
Yeah.
It just wants to stay on my finger.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there trying to put it between my fingers and like trying to go like that, and like if that doesn't work, and I just keep falling back out, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay, so today is Friday. It's basically Open Lines Friday. Which is, on Friday nights, man, all shows fucking do Open Lines Friday because you don't have to prepare for it. But this is one of our most popular nights. Our most popular show is actually Sidetracks. So anything you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. In the meantime, me and Jen will just go along with the crowd, and we're going to drink, and we're going to drink you guys into the weekend. See, weekend is coming.
Yeah, here it is.
Weekend is now here. Weekend night. Everybody's off work. Should be.
Yeah, I mean, probably not because a lot of people work weird shifts and stuff, but
theoretically.
Oracle is here. Said, I have some weird family news with a Florida connection. Turns out I've inherited a house.
Oh, okay.
Me plus my sisters and cousins. Whereabouts?
In Florida. Yeah.
Well, I know, but I mean, Florida's big. So I was just asking where it was exactly. Noah Bailey said, Tom, have you seen Conan in Mortal Kombat?
Conan in Mortal Kombat?
I don't know. Conan with a K. I think that's what that says. Zach gave us a super chat also. By the way, y'all, last week, Henry Cavill's screen test for James Bond, before they got Daniel Craig in 2005, leaked. He was only 22 back then. Now, I'd kind of be interested to see that. Because I know a lot of people thought he would make a good Bond, so I'd be kind of curious to see how that turned out.
He was only 22?
Yeah.
It would never work.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Bond needs to be a little like older.
Well, James Bond's background is that he's coming out of OSS or excuse me, SAS. So special operations, which means he wouldn't be out of there till he was in his late 30s, early 40s.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So it's got to be somebody that's like older.
Yeah.
Older and kind of hardened, I would think. The house is in Auburndale, Florida. Which I've heard of that, but I'm not entirely sure like where it is. I don't think I've ever been there.
Where are you living now? Is that a long way away from you, where you live? Or I'd look at the house, see if you want to live in it.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of hot down here, but...
It's a good place to be, though, right now.
Depending...
If you can find a job.
Yeah. That's
or if the house is paid for, then you don't require a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, depending on what the property tax is and what the electric and all that crap is.
Yeah.
So, said, yeah, he could still be a good Bond, I guess. Well, hello there, said Clive Owen would have been a great Bond 15 to 20 years ago. Yeah, he probably also would have been a good James Bond. I forgot who that is. Like. You'd probably know him if you saw him.
All right.
I'm trying to think of something that you saw that he was in that you would recognize him from. But I can't, nothing's coming to mind. Because I've seen a lot more stuff with him in it than you have, I think. So, because I know who it is, but I don't know if you do. Oracle said, except apparently there's been a squatter in residence for the past 6 years, and I don't know if it's my late relative sweetie, a sex trafficker, a gun runner, or an exotic reptile handler. Could be any one of those things. Could be all of those things at once, because this is Florida. Just that with one person. Could be Tiger King.
Yeah, and all that shit's legal here.
Could be Tiger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Children of Men, which I've seen, but I know that Tom hasn't seen that. Because that was the first movie that came to mind, but I know that he hasn't seen that. Although it's a great movie, Children of Men. You'd probably like it. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic kind
Is
of
there
thing.
going to be a James Bond? Are they reviving that?
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know. Because, like I said, I mean, Craig's thing is done, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going to do it again, they're going to have to do, like, a whole reboot.
Yeah. Craig got... That Bond got killed.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie's been out a couple of years. But, yeah, in... what was the last one? No Time to Die, right? Yeah.
But the thing is, I thought that was a good end to that.
It was, yeah.
Just they wrapped that but James Bond up.
Yeah.
So every James Bond is a reboot. Because it always has been.
Yeah, that's how they always do.
Yeah. And really, the best ones are the Craig Bonds and the Lazenby Bond. Fucking... On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I think?
Yeah.
That's the best one. And that's like a Daniel Craig James Bond movie. Very little cheese in it. Telly Savalas is the bad guy, does a great job in it.
Yeah, I liked it because it was kind of a more serious.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of humor in it, but it not like...
It was real futuristic for its time. The fighting looked real. And a lot of the car racing and wrecking looked real for the time. Because usually, late 60s, the shit looked like something off Star Trek.
Yeah.
The fake
Kirk
martial arts and shit.
Fighting the Gorn.
Yeah, fighting. We're fighting.
Just spaz chopping you
Yeah.
like that. Noel asked if we've seen Death Race. Like the original one, like Death Race 2000 from like, when did that come out? The 70s?
70s, I think.
We did see it. It was, we reviewed it a long time ago. But I think they've remade it. But I have not seen the remake though. CB said in the UK, you'd have to tell people if the house you sell them or they inherit has had paranormal activity. Some states have that here too. I don't think every state does, but I think there are a few states that if anybody's reported hauntings there, they have to disclose that. Pretty sure they have to disclose like deaths and stuff too.
Psycho Zero says she liked Brosnan. I liked some of those movies. GoldenEye was like one of the perfect James Bond movies. That was a really good one. But not all of his movies were equal. What was that one where with the North Korea thing? That one, I remember that one not being too good. James Bond has a problem with consistency. The only consistency that I think it had was that the Roger Moore James Bond was consistently cheesy.
Yeah.
That was pretty consistent. Although some of them were less cheesy than the others. But and really, I went back and watched some of the Roger Moore James Bonds, and he was a bitch. I didn't like him.
Yeah, I didn't really like him.
He was a bitch,
Moore.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pussy.
I think we watched
Wasn't tough at all.
Moonraker, and well,
Yeah.
like I said, he was just kind of like he was smarmy. I didn't really like, and I don't like smarmy.
Yeah.
You know
You'd
what I
see
mean?
a female fucking helicopter pilot, and he goes, "Oh, you're a pilot?" Huh. like he had a hard time
Ew, a
grabbing,
woman.
like he had a hard time grasping that, He
Like-
just kind of a
I thought you were just there to be ogled.
yeah,
You can't do things. like
Yeah.
that, yeah, it was like that.
yeah. And I think they were trying to make fun of the character.
It could have been, but
It's
it
hard to
didn't
say.
come across that way.
Yeah.
You know?
But it just kind of he just came across as a whiny bitch.
Yeah, he did a bit.
Yeah.
Zach gave us another super chat.
Thank you, Zach.
What impresses me about On Her Majesty's Secret Service is how modern feeling of a movie
Yeah.
is. A lot of innovative filmmaking. I wish Peter Hunt had more of a career as a director. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of a shame that he didn't
Yeah.
make more movies, because that was a great...
They gave him that
Film.
gizmo to fucking crack that safe,
Yeah.
and it took time. He had to sit there and let it work, and that shit was realistic.
Yeah, he's sitting there like looking at a magazine.
Had
and
that
stuff.
been Roger, had that been Roger Moore fucking gizmo, it would have happened instantly and effortlessly. Everything was too easy for Roger Moore. He was just kind of a...
He was just like, swanning his way through life.
Yeah.
I'm too cool to be concerned with any of this kind of stuff.
And he would inexplicably fucking beat dudes up who were like 5 times his size.
Yeah, when normally the dudes that he would, he would just break him in half.
Roger Moore, there was no physicality to Roger Moore. That dude never saw the inside of a gym, much less any kind of special operations or anything. He's supposed to be a fucking SAS guy. And he's described as fucking having a beat up face, look like a boxer, drinking a lot. He wasn't a pretty boy. But he was sexy, evidently.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like the Roger Moore era, that's just the way that they decided to take that character in that.
Boomer women seem to like that.
Yeah, I don't really get it, but...
My mom loved Roger Moore, but James Bond. And it was good. That shit was so fake, though. It was so great, though. He was so romantic, and I was just like, no, he was a bitch.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of a dick.
He's a bitch.
Honestly, I don't think there was anything romantic about it.
Yeah,
I just thought he was kind of a condescending douche.
Lazenby is fucking one of the best Bonds, right up there with fucking Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig's the best one overall. A lot of people had problems with him, said that he didn't have enough humor and he was too fucking dour and shit. It's just, that's kind of the way that character was. He was being beat down. He was getting the fucking shitty end of the stick.
Yeah,
he was working for fucking basically government agencies that were fucking corrupt, and institutions were fucking corrupt. Spectre ran everything. They had penetrated everything, which that's cool, man. That's more accurate. Everything's corrupt. And that even started in fucking Casino Royale. The theme song says fucking they're just gonna fucking use you up and replace you. And that's working for that intelligence agency, It wasn't really a good thing. You would eventually die.
Well, yeah. Everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
Oracle saying that she's doesn't really want to live in the house. Probably going to sell it and divide the money between her, my sisters, and my cousins, expecting to get about $12K to $10K a piece. See, that's a nice chunk of change.
Well, hello there, Sid. The cheesy shit didn't start with fucking more. It started with fucking Diamonds of Forever. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Diamonds Forever had some cheese to it.
It did.
But there were certain things to Diamonds of Forever I thought were kind of good. They had the 2 gay assassins that were weird as fuck. And I kind of liked that in the movie. But that one is where it started to get pretty cheesy. There was a cheese element to it. Although fucking I can't remember everything that happened in that. They were out on an oil rig, and I think there was don't they end up on the oil rig? And that guy, the Spectre guy's got some kind of fucking submarine. I don't remember exactly what he was gonna do. The shit gets kind of convoluted over time. They all kind of blend together.
Yeah, because we watched a lot of them over a short period of time, so
Yeah.
I'm confusing a lot of the fucking plot to it because they're all kind of similar.
The one that stood out was Majesty's Secret Service. That stood out.
Yeah,
It's like that's an excellent. That's the best one. Of classic Bond, that's the Bond.
I think we got another super chat. Yes,
Good.
Burley sent us another super chat.
Yeah,
thank you very much. American Military is asking what is our favorite Bond film.
I just basically said Casino Royale with Craig is fucking good. Although I liked all the movies. I even liked No Time to Die. Which some people didn't like that one because it had some humor in it. But they were homaging the other movies though, which I thought that was kind of cool. They were giving Daniel Craig a send-off, and then on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That was a fucking really good one. That's up there with the Daniel Craig movies.
Yeah,
I liked Quantum of Solace. A lot of people didn't like that one. I loved that one. You got to watch it a few times. One of the things I liked about it is it had a bunch of fucking occult messages in it. Alchemy and stuff. Burning water, oil in the desert, all that kind of imagery. Bond gets in a cab And the cab driver says, my dead mother saw me last night. She told me they were stealing all the water. And that was happening. That was weird. That usually was not, that kind of shit usually wasn't in a James Bond movie.
Yeah, Camp Guy said the opening fanfares of the Bond theme by Chris Cornell are incredible.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly, I love that song. I have that on our, we have a lot of Bond themes on our Spotify.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
But, matter of fact, our song is a Bond theme.
Yeah.
The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
By Garbage.
The
That's our song.
one that I really like though is aside from that one is the Alicia Keys song with the white stripes. Fucking what was the name of that song?
I don't remember.
Another Time to Die or something like that.
I don't remember.
That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like all of the Craig theme songs. Probably the Chris Cornell one was the best one, I think.
The first two. The rest of them I thought were kind of forgettable.
But
they tried to be too pretty. They weren't catchy.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, Camp Guy said they he got some of the books. And it said books are great too, lots of stuff that's not in the movies. I'd actually be kind of curious to read some of them. I don't think I've ever read any Bond.
I think I read one back when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it.
He said Camp Guy said his favorite ones were Goldfinger, Thunderball, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Casino Royale. Yeah, I liked Goldfinger as well. And I like the George Lazenby one. Out of the Craig ones, I think probably Skyfall is my favorite, but I don't know. I'm not sure. They're all pretty good.
Skyfall is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Skyfall is it doesn't mention Spectre. It's like a side mission.
Yeah.
They forget about Spectre.
Yeah. Well, hello there also says, I forgive you, Tom, for disparaging Roger Moore. Don't beat yourself up over it.
No, I just didn't.
Yeah,
the movies
I wasn't a fan of his take on the character.
The movies that I saw with him in it, I didn't like. I think the strongest one that I saw was Moonraker, and it wasn't all that great, but it did have some cool ideas in it. And he wasn't as much of a bitch in Moonraker as he was in some of the other ones. I think. Been a long time I've seen it, but I don't think it was.
I mean, we watched Moonraker probably a few months back.
Yeah.
When we were watching all the Bond movies. We didn't watch all of them, but we watched a lot of them. But I think I remember kind of falling asleep in the middle of that one.
Yeah.
I saw that when I was a kid, but I don't know. I remember seeing, like, when I was younger, I remember really being excited to see A View to a Kill because Duran Duran did the theme song, and that's a great theme song, by the way. But
not a good movie though.
It's not really a good movie. I mean, Christopher Walken is great in it. Grace Jones is in it, which she makes everything better. But the movie overall is like not really all that fantastic.
Whoever wrote the script, they didn't really know what computer chips did.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, they didn't know what computer chips were. It was just something.
I feel like a lot of
just
movies,
a MacGuffin.
I feel like a lot of movies in the 80s
and
maybe even into the 90s a little bit.
Right.
That were about computer technology or hacking or anything like that. People were just pulling stuff out of their ass.
They didn't
like,
really
they obviously didn't know what they were talking about. Like all the stuff that they thought that the shit could do and everything. But yeah.
What was the one where he goes to Haiti?
Man, I don't remember.
He was fighting all the pimps, and they had the pimp mobiles. That was pretty cool.
Fighting all the pimps.
Yeah, remember that?
I do remember. I just can't remember what movie that was.
Yeah. They weren't just pimps. They were part. I don't know if they were part of Spectre or whatever, but their leader was trying to do something. I forgot what it was.
Spectre's like pimp.
Yeah, they had a pimp division.
The pimp division.
But they had all these.
Ooh, that'd be a good band name. Like if you did funk versions of Joy Division songs, you could call yourself Pimp Division.
They had the pimps all had these badass fucking pimp cars. They're like fucking customized Cadillacs and customized.
Yeah, and they have like fucking tiger stripe or zebra stripe carpet on the inside and disco balls and shit like that.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah. But they had a lot of body work on them too. They changed some stuff. They were custom cars.
I would do that to
They look pretty cool.
Zach is saying
Live and
maybe
Let
it was
Die.
Live and Let Die.
Live and
yeah.
Let Die.
I knew it was one that we had watched recently, but I couldn't remember.
It was pretty good. It's all right.
I couldn't remember which one it was. CB said the one Bond film that was shit was the one Sean Connery came back to do, and his hair was gray. Yeah, because he stopped doing the character And then somebody else did it for a while, and then Sean Connery came back and did one.
What was the name of that one?
I don't remember. Like I said, I get them all confused. Because we watched them all fucking within a short period of time. And we were just all over the place. We weren't even watching them in order or anything. They were just like whatever ones we felt like watching. Let's see. Oh, and you know what we watched last night? Just because we watched The Shining again.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I had been watching one of the Horror's Greatest shows on Shudder, and they did a show about best horror scores. And of course they talked about The Shining on there because that, you know, the music in that is, even though a lot of the music wasn't made for that, it was just already existing pieces. But the way it was used in there is like so iconic. So they talked about that a great deal. And I was like, man, that kind of makes me want to watch The Shining again. And then last night, Tom had been watching a video where someone was reacting to The Shining and they'd never seen it before. He's like, man, that makes me want to watch The Shining again. I'm like, let's watch The Shining again. And it's like, we've seen that movie like 40,000 times, but every single time I watch it, I notice something that I never noticed before. Every single time.
You said the movie was Never Say Never Again. I think I saw
Never Say Never Again.
I think I saw that in the movie theater in Brazil when it came out. And I think that year 2 Bond movies came out from competing studios, didn't they?
Wasn't it something like that? Yeah, it was something like that.
Because one was a Sean Connery movie, and then the other one was a fucking not Pierce Brosnan.
The Roger Moore one, right?
No, Pierce Brosnan. No, not Pierce Brosnan. What? I think it was fucking Living Daylights.
Oh, okay.
Came out. Who was that again? The guy.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, I think. Timothy Dalton's first one, Living Daylight, which is good. The second one isn't any good, but the first one's good.
That was the one that had the Aha theme song, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent song.
I
they play that at the bar sometimes.
And I think Never Say Never Again is the one where Bond has to play a damn 3D video game against the bad guys, and they end up going into a cave where there was a submarine or something, and they got to fight, and they get in the submarine, and it leaves the cave. Isn't that sound about right?
Yeah, there was some, yeah. That was one of the ones that we watched recently. Yeah. I thought.
I think that's. I think that was a Roger Moore. I think that was a Sean Connery one. It's been a long time. And of course, he's got some hot chick with him who's like fucking 22.
It's like his daughter's age.
Yeah. He's like 62 and she's like 22. Yeah. They get in the water and everything. You can see right through her clothes.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
So creepy. She'd be like, thanks for rescuing me, Dad.
Yeah. Although the fucking Roger Moore ones were the worst for that. I mean, the dude is definitely fucking... He's not even a well-preserved 50s. You know what I mean? He's a fucking boomer.
Yeah, he's like a creepy boomer that's like fucking macking on
early
teenage
80s.
Girls at the grocery store.
Yeah, early 80s. Boomer in his 50s.
Yeah.
Running after some high school chick.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, and she's happy to get with him.
Which, yeah, you can tell some 50-year-old man wrote that fucking script.
Yeah.
Joseph says Octopussy with Roger Moore was the competition. Yeah, I thought it was a Roger Moore one that was the competition. Is that what it was? Okay. Yeah, because that's Timothy Dalton came along later.
That's right.
Like the Roger Moore ones were like
it was Octopussy. That's right. And I probably got the two confused about the 3D video game where they're stopping missiles and shit.
Yeah.
But
was that because of Tron?
That might have been Octopussy. It's hard to say. They just did shit. I think it might have been because of Tron.
They just did shit.
Yeah, they just did shit.
Yeah, when did Tron come out? 81, 82?
Whatever was fucking happening or hip, they'd put that shit in the fucking... They'd put that shit in the fucking James Bond movie. A lot of product placement, too. Like Moonraker was because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
They had to have lasers.
Yeah.
They had to be in space, so that's what that was all about.
Yeah, Bond in space.
Yeah. Bond Wars.
Bond Wars.
Yeah.
And like I said, it doesn't really work. I mean, because you can tell that they're trying to shoehorn this character that doesn't really have anything to do with that, like, into that.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know if I'm like, stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Like, you can do creative ideas and stuff, but I just thought it was kind of a stupid. I don't know. And like I said, it was very transparently because, hey, all the kids are into sci-fi. Let's put this old smarmy dude.
Yeah, macking on teenagers.
And
you see, that's not a...
Send him to the moon or whatever. He didn't actually go to the moon, did he?
No. But here's the thing about the macking on the teenagers thing. It's not fucking credible, all right, with the particular actors that they were dealing with.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the problem, okay? A 50-year-old David Bowie, he's going to be able to get away with all
kinds
of
shit.
shit.
That's what I mean. That wouldn't
different.
be... Yeah, that's different.
Actually, a 50-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio, evidently he's a slayer, you know?
I've heard.
And, but he's got a certain look to him, you know? And he's fucking a huge star.
Yeah. That's still slightly creepy, but it's not as creepy.
Yeah. Well, they're not teenagers, though. He's going after
well, that would be creepy. That'd be
20s.
Creepy no matter who it was, but it's just like,
They're in their 20s. Because he can. He does it because he can. You know? I guess he values beauty. He doesn't need money, does he?
No.
Who else did that?
All of them?
A bunch of them did that, yeah. I think almost all of them did
much.
that.
Not all of them. That's not fair. There are like a lot of actors that actually marry and date people their age.
Oh, I remember who it was. I was thinking Jason Statham.
Yeah, that's right.
Boy, them fucking women were fucking dragging him through the mud. Because I think he married a girl who's like 26.
Yeah.
You know? So fucking what? He's rich. He doesn't need her money. She just, you know, she's going to be on permanent vacation with him, having fun. And he's Jason fucking Statham.
Yeah.
You know, he's in good shape, you know?
Yeah, I'm kind of less creeped out by, like, if it's a 50-something-year-old man that, like, looks like an average 50-year-old man. And obviously thinks the world of himself and is like, oh, I'm entitled to, like, a 21-year-old chick. Then that's a lot creepier than a 50-odd-year-old man who actually still looks really good for his age.
Jason Statham got a fucking six-pack.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
It's like slightly less creepy. Like I said, there's still a huge age disparity, but it's not quite as creepy. If it's not some, you know, like some boomer dude we'd see at fucking Walmart or something with his
Women do it
Crocs
too,
on.
though. Cher was big into that.
Yeah. You just don't see it as much, and I kind of feel like, I don't know.
Cher looked great,
they
for a
get
long
shit
time.
for it too, but
I remember Cher was in her 40s, and I think her boyfriend was like fucking 20.
yeah, something like that.
They were giving her shit for it in the fucking media, and I was like, but look at her. She looks fucking great. You know, she's fucking 40-something. She looks like she's 20-something.
Yeah.
You know? Her kid's grown and gone.
Man, I get it, but it is a little weird. I just always just kind of feel like...
She was a club chick.
Yeah.
That was somebody she met at the club.
Like I said, it's kind of less... I guess it's not quite as weird to us because it's like if the situation was you met somebody that was like half your age, but they were into the same shit as you because they were hanging out at the goth bar or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be that weird. Because I kind of feel like the biggest thing is not so much this huge age disparity.
It's the
but
mismatch.
It's like, it's the mismatch. It's like you don't really have anything in common. You're not from the same generation. But if you meet somebody younger, because we know people that are not, you know, we don't date them obviously, but like we have friends that are like young enough to be our kids.
Yeah.
But they're into the same shit as us.
Yeah, we don't see them as kids.
And we don't really see them as kids because you can talk to them on the same level. They know what you're talking about. They're into the same stuff. So it's just kind of like you don't really see them as younger than you, not fashion. So maybe it's not as weird in that regard. But so maybe that's the thing. Like if it's a younger person that is into old people shit, then it's kind of easier, you know, to relate, I suppose. Oracle says Demi Moore is another one who likes younger men. Yeah, that's right. Didn't she go out with who's the douche with the hair? I can see his face and I can't think of what his name is. Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Didn't she date Ashton Kutcher for a while?
Thing is she looks great. She's in her 60s. She looks fucking awesome.
Here's when we saw The Substance.
Yeah.
And she is naked for like 50% of that movie, maybe more.
And I don't think she's touched up. I think they touched her up to make her look rougher than she actually
They
looked.
might have, honestly.
Yeah.
And in the movie, in the context of the movie, she's supposed to be 50, but she's actually 61 or 62. And it's like, she looks really good, like for somebody that age. And to come out there, like, and just let it all hang out like that, I was just kind of like, man, that was like really fucking fearless.
It's not so much
I
the
thought.
age. It's not so much the age. I think it's the beauty.
Yeah.
You know, the disparity between the beauty. You know what I mean? Like fucking, it doesn't creep me out that she goes out with guys in their 20s. You know, she's pretty hot. A guy in his 20s would be into that.
Yeah, I think
Especially-
that's maybe what it is. Like I said, it's not so much that
It's not so much the age. It's the how they look.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And you know, because like I said, I'd be a lot more creeped out if I saw like a 60-year-old man who looked like a
Very out of
60-year-old
shape,
man at Walmart.
Yeah. Look
Going
like
out with,
Scott.
like-
Look like our friend Scott. That's creepy.
Sorry, Scott. But
He pays for it though.
he does, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But if it was like a 50, 60-year-old man that like looked like David Bowie or something like that, and was obviously keeping themselves together and knew what was going on, it wouldn't be quite as weird, I suppose. They're talking about Karen Black.
Karen Black was hot.
Some movies with Karen Black in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camp Guy said Karen Black used to give me a chubby just for showing up.
Yeah.
There is
My
something.
dad loved her. She thought she was the hottest woman.
There's
ever.
like something really sexy about Karen Black.
Kind of had a slightly lazy eye at certain times.
Yeah.
She was hot. She's hot.
And it's you can't really explain it. Like I said, we've talked about this before. There's a difference between pretty and sexy. Sometimes it overlaps, but not always.
Karen Black's pretty though too at the same time.
Yeah.
Although she was, even when she was fucking playing that villain from fucking House of 1,000 Corpses or whatever, she was still pretty hot in that too. She's just this fucking weird fucking redneck chick. Trashy redneck chick. But she was still kind of hot.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Well, we were talking about, because we were rewatching The Shining last night, and we were talking about Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
And how she was always kind of a strange looking...
Real plain looking.
She's interesting looking.
She looked real plain, and then all of a sudden she looked real pretty. When she was scared, she looked real pretty.
Yeah, Tom's like, wow, she looks really good when she's terrified.
Yeah.
Which I think is why, because she had those big eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and then we were talking about the lady in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Because every time that scene comes up with the lady in the bathtub, Tom's like...
Oh my God, that woman's ugly.
Not like the hot version, not the baggy old rotting version.
No, like the young version that comes out. I'm like, I don't know what he's seeing there. Her face is okay, but that body is just the weirdest body I've ever fucking seen. I was like, how could you be into that? Just long, skinny limbs with no shape, and then this fucking weird belly, and this no boobs, and kind of a weird sway back, just kind of a weird.
She's a little sway back. Well, she seemed kind of tall, like that.
Yeah, weird looking woman.
We were kind of laughing at like how fucking lascivious, like fucking. Like Jack Nicholson is in that scene.
Yeah,
it's like he just walks in the room and just like, it's obviously a ghost like getting out of the tub, and he's just like, all right.
He's possessed by the house at that point, though.
Guess so.
And I think he's been drinking.
Yeah.
He's drinking some of that ghost booze.
Because the house gave him some booze.
Yeah.
Because they knew that would like break down his defenses.
If you read the book, it gives the backstory of that character. She was like a succubus. She was this old woman that just went after young kids, young guys. And she'd been doing it her whole life. She's rich, you know. She had old money. And she went up to the overlook on one of her big last hurrahs. She was in her late 60s or 70s. She had her little 16-year-old boyfriend with her. He was like a hippie. Long hair and shit. She bought him a Corvette and everything. Bought him a Corvette Stingray. And they were staying up in there a couple weeks. She'd rented the room for a couple weeks. If I remember correctly, I haven't read the book in a long time. The boy's with her for a few days, but then runs off with one of the girls that works at the hotel. They leave in the fucking Stingray. And the old lady fucking gets pissed off and fucking gets trashed, jumps in the fucking bathtub, slits her wrists. Because she couldn't fucking do the kind of shit she wanted to do anymore. And she dies, but because she had like paid up on that room, they didn't check on her, you know. She'd been in there for about a week or so before they fucking found her. So she was pretty fucking rotten.
I'm sure that's
waterlogged in there.
Yeah, she's probably all fucking bloated.
Yeah, so she was all became like a succubus. She was a ghost that was trying to fuck everybody. I guess she was trying to fuck Daddy.
Maybe so.
Choke him out.
Trying to choke him out. Yeah, they don't show that happening. They just show the aftermath. But,
yeah.
Zach is saying same thing with Isabelle Huppert in that Elle movie she did. Man, Isabelle Huppert I always thought was like super, super sexy. She's just kind of like, she's French and that helps. And the roles that she picks are usually very sexually charged. But there's just something about her that I always found like really, really sexy. Jeff Yard says, Damian was married to Ashton until she found out he was cheating on her. Also, she found out 20 minutes before she and Ashton publicly announced founding the Thorn Foundation. Thorn Foundation? Yeah. Yeah, I don't really follow like a lot of celebrity news, so I just remember they were I didn't even remember that they were married. But I didn't remember that he was cheating on her and stuff. How'd she find out? Did somebody like tell her, or did he tell her? Hey, we're going to like do this like big public announcement thing, and he's like, oh, by the way, I've been hiding the sausage like with some other chick, you know. Sorry. Camp Guy said they say that Farrah Fawcett Majors was an example of a really sexy chick that wouldn't win a beauty contest. Camp Guy said I used to have her poster. Yeah, I think everybody had that. But yeah, I always just kind of thought she's not really my type, honestly, which I think I've said before. I'm not really into that like kind of blonde beachy California kind of. That's not really my thing. So I always thought she was kind of pretty, but like nothing special. Because there's like a lot of chicks that look like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember, as a kid, when Charlie's Angels came out, I must have been in 3rd grade, I think. And all the boys fucking loved that Charlie's Angels and shit. They even had posters.
Yeah. I had a lunchbox.
They had posters of Jacqueline Smith and fucking posters of Farrah Fawcett, but I never really saw it. I didn't really care. And then later, I saw her in some movies, like Saturn 3.
Yeah.
I could kind of see what they were talking about, but she didn't have a figure. She just skinny.
And that one, she was banging that old man.
Yeah. What was his name?
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt.
That was what I remember.
His name's Kurt, right? Kurt.
Yeah. Shit, now I can't remember either. You guys know who he means.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel was in that too.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, we reviewed it.
I have it on Blu-ray. It's a very unique movie. They kind of ran out of money, and they didn't really finish it properly. The way it ended wasn't quite satisfactory, and the space shots didn't live up to the interior shots that they had. The space shots kind of looked like something out of a fucking Godzilla movie. But the story and the robot, the concept for the robot and everything, the wireless technology and cybernetic implants and the culture back on Earth, with Harvey Keitel and everything, it had a lot of good ideas in that. It wasn't totally executed properly. It needed about another 15, 20 minutes to flesh it out, and it needed better outer space shots.
Yeah. Zach says, you should check out Shelley Duvall's movie with Robert Altman. She was legit gorgeous back in the 70s. Yeah, I mean, like I said, she actually is quite beautiful from certain angles or like certain facial expressions and stuff like that. But they can like frumpy her up like big time, which they did in The Shining.
The problem with 70s and 80s is that the beauty standard was being set by Coke whores. Yeah, literally. It was the Coke whore look.
Yeah.
Which was fucking skinny and kind of flat with fucking feathered hair. And if a woman had any shape to her, they would just say she was fat. Which is fucking stupid. They had to, I'm more like those Russ Myers girls, fucking big voluptuous strippers, Those are around for a long time. But for some reason, they didn't want to bring that to fucking B-movie Hollywood. Or any Hollywood period. I guess they thought that was a passé look.
Yeah, I think it was just the kind of the era.
Yeah.
You know?
Skinny is what they wanted. And, you know, there's nothing there for me.
Man, some of those movies in the 70s, those chicks were really skinny.
Just too fucking skinny. Cocaine.
Really skinny.
Cocaine. All they did was smoke cocaine.
And, like, they wore those fucking polyester pants that looked like they had to be fucking sewn into them. They were just, I was like, how the fuck did they get into those? Holy crap. They're fucking tiny. Joseph says Karen Black played 3 roles in Trilogy of Terror. Yeah, that's a great movie. We reviewed that a very long time ago. And obviously everybody remembers the third one, like with the Zuni doll or whatever. But like the other 2 stories are really good too. I think didn't Richard Matheson write those stories? I feel like. Yeah, Heido said I think the Shining typecast Duval is a frumpy woman. Yeah, probably so. And then CB said Jack Nicholson is batshit in most of his films. Yeah, like, I kind of get, you know, famously Stephen King really hated Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining. And that was one of the main reasons, is because he's like, well, Jack Nicholson seems like a crazy asshole, like, right from the beginning. So it didn't have so much of a character arc like the book did. But I don't know. I think most of the choices that Kubrick made were the correct ones, like to make the movie scarier and, like, more iconic and stuff. The book is great, too, but it's not the same.
There's a lot of differences.
Medium, so...
Yeah. There's a lot more in the book.
Yeah.
And Halloran survives in the book.
In the book, yeah.
He saves them. He's the hero.
But we were talking about that last night, and I said, even though, obviously, in the movie, like, Halloran is a great character, and I love Scatman Crothers and everything like that, and it sucks that he dies in the movie, but in a way, I understand and I kind of approve of why they did that. To me, it makes it scarier because it's like he went through all of this shit and he had powers and everything like that. But then, like, as soon as he got there, he couldn't.
Jack had to kill somebody, or the movie wouldn't have been scary. I guess until he looked at it.
I guess, but I mean, the movie was scary anyway. But without that, but I do kind of feel like that was something that pointed to how powerful the hotel was. That even this person that had powers,
yeah,
and went through all of this trouble, like, to get there to try to save them and everything like that. Like, he didn't even have a chance against it.
If you've seen the movie but haven't read the book, the movie's very accurate to the book in general. Everything that they show you in the movie is in the book. It's just that in the book it's explained more. Like, who were the 2 fucking ghosts? Where one of them was blowing the other one, and he was in the fucking dog costume with his ass sticking out. What was that all about? Well, they explained that, of who that was. Even the guy that's with his head split open going, great party, isn't it? He's in the book. That ghost. All the backstories of all those ghosts are actually talked about in the book. But when Wendy sees them, she doesn't know the backstory. They just pop out.
Yeah. And that would be, like, way scarier.
So that's a lot scarier.
Because there's no context.
Yeah. You're basically seeing everything from Wendy's point of view. And a little bit from Danny's point of view. And I guess some of Jack's too. But they don't tell you what's happening in the spirit world too much. And in the book it tells you what's happening with the hotel and the ghosts in the hotel, and they're having a party. And they're outside of space and time having an eternal fucking party. They're trying to get people to join the party, to stay forever and ever. And they want Danny because he's so gifted. He has the power to make them manifest. They would have an energy source to kind of feed off of for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you see in the movie is referenced in the book.
Yeah.
But I think it's scarier to not
know, I guess.
Give the backstory, because that's how you would be experiencing it if you were there.
Yeah.
Which makes it scarier to me.
Yeah, none of the living people really, none of the living characters in the book knew everything that was going on in the spirit world. Only the reader knows.
Yeah.
And the other ghosts knew.
Phantom says, also, I've been hearing nothing but good things about that new Valentine's Day slasher film coming out called Heart Eyes. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that and it looked really good. If I had to guess, I'd say Devin Sawa will be the Heart Eyes killer. I mean, I kind of want to see this. Maybe we can go next weekend and see it, because I'm kind of curious. Do you remember seeing the trailer? We
No.
saw the trailer when we went to see
It doesn't ring a bell.
whatever the last horror movie
Yeah.
was we saw in the theater. Probably Heretic or something. But it looked good. That was what was that other one that looked good? Maybe somebody brought it. I think
Wolfman looked pretty good.
I think that's come
That's
out.
out now already. Yeah.
It seems like it's getting mixed reviews.
Is it? Okay.
I'm still kind of curious to see it.
You can rent that. You can rent that on fucking over
Yeah.
there.
And some people are talking about Companion. That was another one that I think I saw the trailer for that I wanted to see, actually. Papa gave us a super chat. How big of a super chat would it take to request a show on a specific topic? No vote on the poll. Just pay you guys to do the topic.
Depends on what it is.
I never thought about it. Yeah, it depends on what the topic is, I guess. If it's something that,
If it's
like...
something good, it probably only cost about $20.
Yeah.
We just move to the front of the line and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could just bypass the poll
Yeah.
that week or whatever.
Yeah.
But... Oh, and Phantom said Presence is also a good film. Yeah, I heard that was like pretty good also, but I haven't got around to seeing it yet. I did actually watch Getaway, that one with Nick Frost, which is kind of a horror comedy. So I'll probably put a review of that up next week. It's on Shudder, actually. I thought it was coming out in the theater, but I don't think it ever did. Because I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty funny. And I like Nick Frost. But as far as I know, it never came out in the theater. And then like I was looking on Shudder, and I was like, oh, it's on here now. Okay, so I guess it just went to Shudder. So I watched it the other day, and I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. It was the one about like the British family, and they go to this weird island on where is it, Denmark or somewhere, like up in the fucking Norway or someplace like that, and like everybody's like super cranky and like unwelcome and stuff, and it's like it's kind of like I don't know. I can't talk too much about it because it has like a big thing, and I don't want to spoil it. You know what I mean? But yeah. Kevin Evans said Dr. Sleep was better than I thought it would be.
Yes.
Honestly, the movie, and I do not say this lightly, I thought the movie Dr. Sleep was better than the book. I didn't really like the book of Dr. Sleep.
I own Dr. Sleep on Blu-ray.
But the movie was great.
I got Dr. Sleep on Blu-ray, and the director's cut is better than the theatrical cut because we saw it in the theater too. The director's cut's much better than the theatrical cut. So, yeah, hell yeah, it's good. And if you like The Shining, man, that's a must-see. You want to see that director's cut.
Yeah, it just...
Then go back to The Overlook, eventually. Danny does.
I mean, Mike Flanagan is the man.
Yeah.
So, he can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And I really like that he was able to successfully marry the book and the movie of both The Shining and Dr. Sleep and made it all work. Because like I said, you know, Kubrick made so many changes from the book, like because, you know, at the end of Stephen King's book of The Shining, the Overlook is destroyed.
Yeah.
Like it blows up, so it's gone. And obviously that didn't happen in the movie. And, you know, Jack gets killed, but in a different way. And Halloran gets killed in the movie, but not in the book. Yeah. So there's, like, all this stuff that they had to kind of make it all, like, work around and, like, work together. But
Stephen King's early universe was fucking tight. And he must have had access to the University of UCLA, California. Because they had in the 70s, they had a really good parapsychology department with some good parapsych, and everything his books are about are lifted right from some of the best fucking parapsychological fucking books of the day. Firestarter, okay, Pyrokinesis, fucking The Shining, you know, which is about psychic abilities. Just he was really good, and. He gets a lot of the details right, you know, because I've had out-of-body experiences, fucking poltergeist, fucking shit happened when I was a kid. Weird shit still happens in the house every now and then. And King kind of understood the system. A lot of the way he tells the stories, describes it, the things that happen, are like, yeah, that it's like that. Like, for instance, Danny had The Shining, he had abilities, but not from his point of view. from his point of view, Tony was the one that was showing it to him. An outside force was doing it. That was kind of the way it was with me. I believed in the bloast, or the ghost. The ghost was doing stuff. The ghost moved that. You know, weird shit like that. You know, the ghost put something in my mind. It's because if talents like that flow a lot easier when you believe it's an outside force doing it. I don't know why. The conscious, because it's happening in the subconscious mind. It's got to be. The conscious mind can override that. So thinking about it will stop it. You have to have, or not thinking about it, or trying to do it will stop it.
Can I just say that, like, when we rewatched The Shining again last night, like I said, I've seen it a million times, and I love Danny Lloyd in it. He's fucking great in that. And I was like, one of the coolest things about his performance, and he's a little kid, you know what I mean? Is when he's talking to Tony. Like, I was like, the expression on his face changes. When he's Tony, he's kind of like more assured because Tony kind of knows what's going to happen. So he's telling him. There's that great scene where he first comes around the corner on his big wheel and sees the sisters and they're all chopped up and he's like freaking out and everything. And then he says to Tony that he's scared. And then like his face changes like for a second and Tony's like, you know, it's just like Mr. Halloran said, it's just like pictures in a book and they can't hurt you. But then like his face goes back to Danny again and he's like, I don't know. It's just like, and that was just such a great transition. Like for such a little kid to be able to like show that transition so clearly like on his face, I thought was like really good.
Well, from Halloran's point of view, it was true. Because Halloran wasn't strong enough to feed those things the energy they needed to manifest.
Yeah.
But with Danny, he was strong enough to where, no, they were real.
Yeah.
They could
this stuff could hurt him.
They could hurt you.
It could hurt him. Because that lady in the tub like strangled him.
Right.
So
they became a lot more real.
SideQuest Hero said so I can pay $20 and get a show on Anatoly Moskvin.
Yeah.
Didn't we? I thought we did a show on him already. But if not, I'll write that down. Well, yeah, I mean, if that's Tom says is the rules. But
I never thought of it.
Yeah, I never.
As long as it's a decent subject, we'll do it for 20.
Yeah,
like, if it's something that we're not really interested in, it's going to be cost twice that.
Yeah, don't come up with some dumb shit we don't.
If it's dumb shit, we won't do it. Okay.
We'll do a show on most things.
Yeah.
But because most things are a lot more like when you dive into it, it's a lot more interesting than.
If they're going to pay you, they have usually they're going to have legitimate interest. So
yeah,
they
I
actually
would
want
think.
a show.
Yeah, and then
we could have a show within a week.
Yeah, because like I said, I usually put polls up on Friday mornings, and then I let them run over the weekend until like noon on Sunday, at least our time.
We'll just jump over the poll,
and I can just either jump over the poll or whatever. Like I could do that, but. Because honestly, like, a lot of people don't really vote anyways. So, you know.
But the votes do win.
Yeah.
If you want a show and you want to get it fucking quick, that's an easy
And like I said, I usually, if I remember, like, every time somebody recommends something, I have this huge long list. And so every week I'll put 4 different things, but I try to, like, rotate them out, like, so I'm not putting the same shit in the polls. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, so if stuff loses, I'll put it back at the bottom. And then I'll go back to the top of the list and, like, try and mix stuff up that way. But, yeah, SideQuest said it's possible I might have missed it. I don't trust my memory. I don't trust my memory either.
Who is this?
SideQuest is asking.
No.
Anatoly Moskvin.
Who is
now,
he?
Was he the one that made the dolls with the corpses in them? Because if so, then we did do a show about him.
He was the guy that had the fucking toilet paper tube fucking up in the cooch, right?
No. Well, that was... We did both of those guys on the same show. Like
he was
the Necrophiles.
Yeah, he was digging up the little girls and making dolls out of them, right?
Yeah. Because he thought that they were calling him.
I don't think we did an entire show.
No, it was him and that other dude that dug up that woman that he was in love with and put the toilet paper tube in her vag.
Yeah, we had
the
like
Necrophile people.
Yeah, we had like
if that's who that is. That was the first thing I thought of. Maybe it might be somebody else that you're thinking of. But Phantom says, all cuts of that film, Dr. Sleep, are superb, a flawless victory of a film. Ewan McGregor was a great Danny Torrance, and the original Danny had a cameo in that film during the baseball scene. And to be honest with you, that scene with the baseball kid, that was one of the most horrifying things that I've ever seen in a movie ever. I mean, just that kid, and I've seen that kid in other movies. He's even been in comedies. He was in that funny Good Boys. Remember that movie? We saw that in the theater. He was in that. But man, that scene where they were killing him and like sucking out his life force. Oh my God, that was horrible. Like that kid's acting just fucking sold it.
There was a good vampire movie too. They were psychic vampires.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. They weren't. They were like vampires, but they could walk around during the day, if I remember correctly. And they didn't drink blood. They just sucked the souls out of your mouth. And the more suffering they put you through, the better it tasted for them. The more they got out of it.
Did they say in the movie, in the book, it's called steam?
Steam is what they call it?
Did they say that in the movie?
I don't remember.
But that's what they called it in the book. They were taking out... It's essentially your life force is what they were taking out, like, for their power.
Yeah, but, so there's a whole caravan of fucking psychic vampires. They're like gypsies, kind of. Rolling into town, killing people. You got a super chat, big one.
Where is that?
At the bottom.
Oh, thank you very much for the super chat, Victor. I want y'all to watch all of Saved by the Bell and give us a review of each episode. I don't even think I saw any of those back in the 90s. I might have, just like pieces of them, like accidentally. But that's pretty funny. CB said Philip Stone, that played Delbert Grady in The Shining, was a fantastic British TV actor. Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff. One of his best performances was an episode of A Touch of Frost called Penny for the Guy. I saw a couple episodes of that, actually. But yeah, we had the whole... Have we had the discussion about... Because every time I watch The Shining, I'm just always like, why is this? Because I know they did it on purpose. But at the very beginning, when Jack Torrance is talking to Ullman, before he gets, he's doing the interview. And Ullman says that Charles Grady killed his whole family with an axe and then blew his head off with a shotgun. And then later on, when Jack meets him at the party, his name is Delbert Grady.
Yeah.
And then Jack is like, I know who you are. Like, I saw your picture in the paper. But his name was Charles Grady, he said at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Is it an
sure.
error?
I'm not sure if that's a continuity error. I find that hard to believe.
Is it
because
Charles
Kubrick
Delbert
was,
Grady?
Maybe. I don't know. But you'd think that they would make...
Yeah.
Because Kubrick was so exacting.
Yeah, he would know.
I kind of feel like there was a reason for that. But I'm not really sure. It might tie into Jack always having been the caretaker kind of thing. Like, it's just kind of like a rotating...
Well, the ghosts were outside of space and time.
Maybe.
Always being the caretaker, they were existing in a singularity. Time wasn't flowing for them. They were always in a party. It was always in the 1921 where they were. That's why when Jack joined the fucking world of the ghosts, he's in the photos with them.
Yeah.
He's in 1921 partying with the ghosts. Could be that when you end up becoming a ghost, certain details of your personality might change. Like maybe your name does change slightly.
Yeah, maybe so.
Remember, because he said he said, I don't remember killing my family. Remember that? He says, I don't recall that. But then later he recalls it.
Yeah. Although he doesn't say outright.
No, he just hints.
He says he corrected them.
He corrected them. That's what he's talking about.
But yeah, he doesn't say outright that he killed them, but he says he corrected them.
And Jack doesn't say, you killed your wife and your 2 kids. He just says your wife and your kid.
You killed your wife and your daughter, he says.
He didn't say both of them.
Yeah. But even though before that, Grady had said, I have a wife and 2 little girls.
Yeah. He came back later and says, one of them tried to burn it down and he corrected her.
Yeah. And then it's like, and when my wife tried to keep me from doing my duty, I corrected her as well.
Yeah, and he didn't say why he killed the other one. I guess because she was a witness?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always kind of wondered about that. Like, and I guess that's why there's so many conspiracy theories about The Shining, because there's so many weird little things in there like that. Like that one scene where Shelley Duvall, where Wendy is like talking to Jack, like when he first starts to get real dickish about, whether, if you hear me typing in here, whether you don't hear me typing, whatever the fuck you hear me doing, it's like that scene.
Yeah.
She's talking to him, and the wall behind him, there's no chair and no table. And then it cuts back to her, but then when it cuts back to him, there's a chair and a table back there.
I think it's continuity error.
So it might be a continuity error.
I think they shot that over a period of a couple of days, bro.
They maybe did.
Or they reshot it.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite set it up the same way.
But it's just, I just love that movie so much, and it's just like every time, it's such a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, the Delbert Grady thing. You have to go back and check the book and see what his name was in the book.
I thought in the book it was Delbert, but I haven't read the book in a long time. I have it around here somewhere. I just reread it like probably 5 years ago, I want to say. But I thought his name was Delbert Grady in the book. So I don't know if like the actor that played Ullman just got his name wrong and they didn't fix it, or if there's some deeper meaning to it. I don't really know.
Well, Ullman was talking about something that happened back in the long time ago, right? The 20s? No.
No, he was talking about the last caretaker.
Yeah, so it was only a couple years before that.
So it hadn't been that long.
So it hadn't been that long.
He said 1970.
1970.
Right?
Yeah, but fucking Delbert Grady is definitely in the 20s. He's a man of the 20s. When
Yeah, because of the party is
so
the 20s.
he becomes like the ghost.
So that's why I kind of thought, because they're kind of like trying to make a thing. It's like whoever the caretaker is, it's almost like one character, but it's like not. It's, you know what I mean? It's like the same person.
Because he becomes part of the hotel and he's in the 20s, his name changed to Delbert. That sounds like some shit from the 20s. And that might have been his middle name.
Now I'm gonna go.
Charles Delbert Grady. You just call himself.
Now I gotta
Delbert.
go online and like see if the fucking. I'm sure somebody has.
And he was the caretaker. He wasn't a waiter. He was acting as a waiter.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what was weird about it, is that he was like the head waiter.
Yeah.
Delbert Grady was.
Yeah.
But then.
But he did say that he was the caretaker. But he didn't really say. This is, you were always a caretaker. But he said he did kill his kids.
Yeah.
And his wife. It's him.
Yeah.
He's just been slightly translated into something else.
Yeah, maybe that's.
He's got a different role in the afterlife. A different job. And he says, "You're the caretaker now. You were always the caretaker.
You've always been the caretaker."
Yeah, because they're in the spirit world, man. They're not in space time. So everything's singularities. There's no passage of time.
It's just, man, it's just such a great flick. Like I said, every single time. You know what? Something I never noticed before, that I noticed this time, was that when Wendy and Danny are in the hedge maze, and at the end of the hedges, like when there's turns and stuff, there's these red metal triangles with like red pipes, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's somebody, like if somebody gets trapped in the maze and can't get out, like they take and hit the triangle so like somebody would come in and find them. But like I never noticed that before, and I've seen that movie like 100 times at least. Yeah. Camp Guy said Stephen King attributed his success to self-discipline and following a strict writing schedule every day as much as having pure talent. Yeah, and honestly, one of the things I always remember him saying is that, and this is probably pretty much a direct quote, he says, talent is as cheap as table salt. He said, a lot of people are good writers.
Yeah.
He's like, basically what you have to do is you just have to keep writing and writing and writing and writing like every day. And Stephen King writes every single day. I believe he said that he writes at least 10 pages. He's like holidays, weekends, whatever. He writes every single day. And that's why he's written 40 majillion things. Because he gets up and does it every single day. But, I mean, he seems to enjoy it. And, like, remember, like, years and years ago where he said, oh, he was going to retire? I'm like, shut up. No, you're not. And he didn't. I was like, I knew you were going to. I knew you were going to. It's because, like, at this point, it's a compulsion. Like, he can't really stop doing it, which I get it. I get that. So, Yeah, Joseph says Rebecca Ferguson was a great villain in Dr. Sleep. Yeah, she was fantastic. It's funny because the first time we saw that movie, she looks almost exactly like our friend Laura. She was in Dune also. But it's like she didn't look as much like Laura in Dune, but I think the reason that she looked so much like her in Dr. Sleep was because of the hat and everything like that, because we have pictures of Laura like wearing a top hat kind of like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Victor says, gonna watch Heretic tonight. Hope it's good. I hope you like it too. I fucking loved Heretic. I kind of feel like most people that we know that saw it really, really liked it. As I mentioned, it's kind of like you know, it's all in one house, and like pretty much it's almost all talking. Like at least like the first half of it. But I don't know. I thought it was really well done, you know? So I hope you like it. I feel like most people liked it, right? Heretic?
Oh, yeah, it's a great flick.
I picked it. I think it was my third favorite movie of last year. After The Substance and Late Night with the Devil. That was like my top 3. And then what else was in there? Oddity was in there. That was fucking great. Oddity was so good. And I finally got around to reviewing Caveat. You know, the same guy that did Oddity, Damian McCarthy. He did a movie called Caveat back in 2017 or 2018 or whatever it was. And maybe it was 2020. No, I don't remember. But that was great too. But like Oddity is like way better. Way better. Like I said, if you like ghost stories, like supernatural horror or anything like that, anything with, it almost has like a slight folk horror, like witchcrafty kind of thing too. But yeah, it's Irish, but it's really, really good. Really good. But let's see. Phantom says the actress from Heretic plays the sex robot and companion. That's right. I thought she looked familiar, like in the trailer. Like the trailer to that was like so good. I was like, oh, man, I gotta see that. Yeah, Victor said it was really good, companion. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna fucking see that. Papa says, I feel you guys should charge more than $20 for a topic. Jenny, you do such a deep dive and tons of research on your topics. You deserve more than $20 for all the time you put in. That's why I watch. Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I always get really stressed out. I was really stressed out this week because we were doing the show about Roswell, which, you know, I couldn't believe we hadn't done a show on that. But there's so much about Roswell. And I feel like, I think I did okay within the time constraints, but I was so busy this week. Like I had so much other work and I was getting like overwhelmed. And I was like, holy crap, like I really need to like go through these notes and like go through all this other stuff like for the show and everything like that. And I was freaking out about it. Like, like the first, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Cause it's like, I kept thinking it's like, oh, I really need to have time to do this. Like set aside time to do that. And I just never had time to. So I don't know. Like Tom's like, no, you did okay. And I was just like, yeah, I think I did okay. But I always kind of want to do more, especially when it's such a sprawling topic like that. I think that's probably why...
It doesn't fit in the show.
Yeah, that's the thing. But you know how I do. It's like I always kind of like to get... I like to cover everything.
Yeah.
Because I have a weird thing where somebody's be like, why didn't you talk about this? Or why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, with Roswell, though, that should have go out and you'll be a 7-hour show.
Yeah, and it's just... So at a certain point, I was just kind of like, man, I just have to... like, if I leave shit out, like, I'm sorry. But it's just like, I can't... I couldn't cover every single conspiracy. Because, man, it's... There are so many like crazy stories around that, so I just wanted to kind of cover all the bases.
Roswell and Rendlesham Forest case
yeah.
had so much bullshit on them, just piled onto it and onto it and onto it. When there are other cases out there that are kind of forgotten that were really good, that cops saw, you know, and that, you know, whole police departments were involved in it, but you don't hear them piling onto that one. There's something about Roswell and Rendlesham Forest that all the wannabes fucking jump onto that one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Could be Roswell because CIA involvement. CIA would probably just love to fucking make people think that we have alien spacecrafts.
I mean, it probably would be kind of good to make people think that.
Oh, yeah. Don't fuck with us. We got alien tech.
Although if I was in another country, I'd be like, no, you don't. Shut the fuck up. You know? American Military said, how do you feel about Stephen King's Christine being remade? I'm not averse, honestly. I didn't really love... Because I know they did a new version of Firestarter. They did a new version of Pet Sematary. And they were okay. Actually, over on my blog, and I think it was on my other channel, the Scare Salon. I think I did a Firestarter versus Firestarter video.
I didn't see the new Firestarter.
Yeah, we did.
You did?
Yeah, we saw it in the theater, I think. We did a review of it. But it was okay. They changed it a lot. I liked a few...
Maybe I did see it.
I liked a few things that they did about it. I liked that they did it more chronological. Because actually the book and the original movie was kind of more like flashback.
Yeah.
But this one they kind of did more chronological. But there was some stuff I didn't like about it. I thought the girl, Charlie, was not as likable as Drew Barrymore was in the original. She was a lot more endearing in the original one, which, you know, kind of made you forgive her when she burned all those people alive. You know what I mean? This one, you were just kind of like, she kind of sucks, so it's like you weren't really worried about it. But I did like that they got an actual Native American to play the Native American character in the new movie, which was nice. Even though I love George C. Scott in the original. I don't know. It's like I said, it wasn't great. And I didn't love the Pet Sematary remake either. It's not technically a remake. It's just another adaptation of the book, I guess. I didn't really like, spoiler alert, that they changed out the kid that died. Because, you know, in the book and in the original movie, the little boy dies, Gage. But in this version, they wanted to change things up so the daughter dies. So, you know, just because they were trying to, like, subvert everyone's expectations. Which, fine, but I don't know. It was fine, but it wasn't really that memorable. Honestly, Christine, the John Carpenter version from 1983.
That's the one to see.
I kind of feel like that is one of the most underrated... Not only one of the most underrated John Carpenter films, but one of the most underrated Stephen King adaptations. I kind of feel like it gets more love than it used to, but man, that is such a good movie. And it's like such a good adaptation. Everybody in that is good. Keith Gordon is like fucking perfect.
Pretty sure that came out when I was in the Army, because I remember everybody in the Army fucking talking about it.
It was 83. It came out in 83.
83? Okay.
83 it came out.
All right. There was something else.
I have a poster of it right there, matter of fact.
We were just talking about renting it. Been a long time.
Yeah, it definitely came out in 83.
Okay.
But I feel like it didn't get a lot of love for a long time. Like, it was like, oh, it's another Stephen King adaptation. That's a really good Stephen King adaptation. I think they did a really good job. They changed some shit from the book, but not that much.
I think the one that came out in the Army, they were asking, was the one about Sutter Kane.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called?
Well, that wasn't Stephen King.
No, it wasn't Stephen King.
That was John Carpenter.
John Carpenter movie, yeah.
In the Mouth of Madness?
In the Mouth of Madness. No, it wasn't in the Mouth of Madness. It was the one about the guy. It was the Lovecraftian horror. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Sutter Kane, and he was a writer, and his next book was going to open up the fucking dimension to another fucking, open up the door to another dimension. All these monsters were going to come out of there. Remember?
Yeah.
Over in New England. What was the name of that movie? Mouth of Madness? No.
I just said.
It wasn't that one though.
That was one with Sam Neill, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, in the Mouth of Madness. I just
said
said
that. the one, Prince of Darkness was the one I thought you were saying.
No.
Yeah.
Prince of Darkness was the one with the thing,
stupid fucking
vial thing of the green liquid that was.
Yeah, the Mouth of Madness. That's exactly the one it was.
Yeah, I know. I got it right the first time.
Yeah, you got it right the first time.
You're making me doubt myself. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure.
That's
pretty
it.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that came out.
He's always doing that.
That came out probably in 92, right? 93?
95.
95? Okay.
I think that movie was. I think it was 95. Mid-90s.
No, I was in the Army when that came out.
I'm pretty sure it was mid-90s. Maybe it was 94. In the Mouth
of
Madness?
94.
I'm pretty sure that was 94. 94, 95, something like that.
I was out by 95. And I was in the Army when that was on, when we saw that. So around the same time, fucking Seven came out. The Deadly Sins movie.
Seven was...
Around that time.
I want to say that was 92, but maybe
92.
That was a little bit later. I can't remember. Everything starts to blur together.
Yeah.
Yeah, CB said Christine 1983 was perfection. How do you beat that? Yeah, that's the thing. There was just something so... Everybody in that was perfect. You know what I mean? I also loved Robert's Blossom as LeBay.
Yeah.
He was so fucking good in that. He's great if you haven't seen the movie Deranged from 1974, which is loosely based on Ed Gein. Actually, it's not that loosely based. It's pretty closely based on Ed Gein. And Roberts Blossom was in that, like playing the Ed Gein character. He's not called Ed Gein in the movie. But we reviewed it a while back, and I think that's another very underrated movie from the 70s. But it was the same guy that played LeBay, and Christine played the Ed Gein character in that movie. Phantom says Christine shouldn't be a remake, but instead should be a sequel. And in my opinion, the new Christine car should be one of those amphibious driving cars. I don't know. You'd think, why don't they just make From a Buick 8? I mean, that was kind of the same.
Remaking Christine is sacrilegious, man. That's about like remaking The Shining. Why would you want to do that? That's a good telling of the story.
Yeah. It's...
that was Carpenter's version of fucking The Shining. That was his fucking King story, and I thought he did a great job. The tone was right. The tone for that movie was correct for Christine. I read that book.
Yeah.
He pretty much captured the tone of it.
Oh yeah.
And Kubrick, I pretty much captured the tone of of The Shining. As weird as that movie felt, that's what that book kind of felt like. He did a very good job at capturing it.
Yeah, he really did a good job of capturing the spirit of it.
The spirit of it, yeah.
Like I said, I kind of feel like Stephen King was mad because it wasn't like slavishly.
Yeah, because it leaves a lot out.
It didn't follow. Yeah, but like I said, to me, that's what makes it scarier.
If you want to know, if you don't want to read the book, but you want to know what the book is like, get the television series, the miniseries of The Shining. Jenny hates it. I like it.
I don't like it. Mick Garris directed it.
I like it. It's okay. It is.
The dude from Wings is in it, and Rebecca De Mornay is in it. She plays Wendy.
It is very, very. It follows the book very closely.
Yeah,
it's pretty verbatim.
Because Stephen King wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, and is it as cool as fucking Kubrick? No.
No way.
No, but it does. It's kind of like buying the audiobook.
Yeah, so like if you have to do a book report on The Shining,
that's when you
watch that version. It's not good, but it's a lot closer to the book than.
I'm not gonna say it's not good. I'm not gonna say it's not good. I thought it was good.
Steven Weber, that's that guy's name. Thank you. Yeah, the dude from.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't excellent. It wasn't as good as fucking Kubrick's telling.
No way.
No.
Like I said, that's one of the best horror movies ever made, and I will die on that hill.
Somebody sent me the remastered television miniseries of The Stand, and with Molly Ringwald and all-star cast, and it's good. It's really good. Is it as good as the book? No, but pretty close. Pretty close. Pretty close.
Kevin says the Pet Sematary book was actually one of my favorite King books. Mine too. I read it when I was in high school, and I fucking loved it. Just because it was so... Man, it was so grim. Like, he totally went there. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill this little fucking 2-year-old kid. I'm going to have him get run over by a truck, and just wallowing in the aftermath of that. And I was just like, for some reason, that just delighted the shit out of me. I don't know. Not that the little kid got killed, but like that he was willing to go there. Like, experience those emotions, I guess. Yeah, because you got to do that. Like, if you're going to write horror, you need to horrify some people, you know?
Yeah, High Jess is going, that's in the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought.
She said in the Mouth of Madness, but I was thinking Prince of Darkness.
I just said Gaslight.
I thought it was a different...
I was starting to, like, doubt myself. I was that was in the Mouth of Madness, right? I'm like, maybe it wasn't.
I got in the Mouth of Madness confused with Prince of Darkness.
No, those are two different movies.
That's right.
Those are two different movies. They're the same director, but yeah. That's pretty funny. Let's see.
Cam Guy talks about being there at Peter Sellers. Another great movie.
Man, we need to review that. That is a great... I love that movie.
It's about a dude who's just a total fucking... He's mentally handicapped. Been raised by rich people. And just taken care of. And then the people taking care of him die. And he becomes homeless. This rich dude. And he gets hit by a car. And he's a total empty suit. He's just... There's nothing to the guy. But he falls in with all these rich people that think he's a fucking genius. And... and he ends up fucking at the highest levels of fucking power. Don't they make him a president?
Something like that.
Something
it's been.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since the 90s.
Yeah, great movie.
Me and my friend Jen saw it at her house.
Yeah.
We rented it.
It gets into the fucking secret societies, you know, and the fucking the Masonic orders that are running the fucking planet type of deal.
Victor says 7 was 1995. I was in junior high. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I thought it was. See, I was right the first time. I should stop doubting myself.
I thought 7 came out when I was in the Army.
No, 95 it came out. I was pretty sure it was 95.
I was out by then.
Joseph says, Lazarus, a quote from Lazarus Long, if you ever find yourself winning an argument with your wife, apologize immediately. Mm-hmm. That's true, that is. Words to live by. Kevin says, The Mist is awesome. I agree. That was a really good adaptation. High Desert said, have you ever watched The Stone Tape? I have, and I actually... Did I do a video of it? I did a review of it on my blog, like, a long time ago. Because I'd always heard about it, you know what I mean? And, but yeah, I really, really liked it. I wouldn't mind rewatching it, actually. You'd probably like it, Tom.
What's it called?
The Stone Tape. It was made for British TV back in the 70s. And you know how, in paranormal circles, they have the stone tape theory? Where, you know, certain materials, like stone and stuff, could ostensibly record
it.
Like paranormal. This is where they got that terminology from. This play. Like it was written by Nigel Neal, and then they made it for TV in the 70s. And it's about this group of researchers that are trying to like one up the Japanese like in audio technology, and they're at this like creepy old castle in Britain somewhere, and they start discovering that they're recording ghosts essentially. Mm-hmm. So it's really good. I really liked it, but I reviewed it a long time ago, but I haven't seen it in years and years. Yeah, Zach says same thing with how they went there with Hereditary. Yeah, I kind of admire a movie that's just willing to just make you feel as shitty as possible. You know what I mean? I have a lot of respect for that kind of thing, even though sometimes you aren't in the mood to watch that movie. I will always have respect for filmmakers that are just like, I just want everybody to be fucking miserable, and but I mean, you know, it's realistic. It's shit that could happen.
Yeah.
The first time I saw Hereditary,
like Joker.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I saw Hereditary, like, that fucked me up really bad, and I really wanted to see it again, but I was like, I don't know if I want to watch that again. I finally did. It took me, like, 2 years.
That first Joker was a masterpiece, and then evidently the second one came out, and they said it was so bad, fucking nobody saw it. It just totally bombed. It was nothing like the first one. And it was the same director and everything. But that thing bombed fucking badly.
Well, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna pass judgment on it because I haven't seen it one way or the other. I might like it. I don't know. Victor says they should remake the Langoliers with today's CGI and special effects. That's the thing. Stephen King has written so much shit that has not been adapted. Pick one of those. Or that has been adapted badly. Like the Langoliers, the adaptation was not great. You know what I mean? The one they made in the 90s or whenever
if you're gonna fuck with Stephen King, you want a television. You want like a Netflix series along the fucking lines in the scope of, say, like Stranger Things. All right, and what you do is you do the Gunslingers series. That's what you do.
That needs to be like.
And you do the shit right, like the book, and fucking that would be a hit. That would be a hit. The fucking interdimensional fucking cowboys, an interdimensional fucking gunfighter, and fucking people that he picks up in other dimensions, and they're on this fucking adventure to get to a dark tower to fucking stop the universe from unraveling or something. I forgot what they were trying to stop. And it took a long time for him to get there. I never finished them. But I think I got through the first 3 or 4 books. It was fucking great. Or you do the Stephen King and Peter Straub book, The Talisman. That was a fucking great story. That would be a cool miniseries.
They could do The Talisman and The Black House, which was the next one.
Yeah, I don't know that one. That was after the Talisman.
Yeah, that was like the sequel.
I didn't see it, or I didn't read it.
They don't adapt enough Peter Straub, man.
Peter Straub, pretty good. Yeah.
The only, like I said, really the only ones I know of are Ghost Story from the early 80s and The Haunting of Julia, which was based on a novel of his from the 70s. They might have done some other ones, but not many. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, in The Talisman, Peter Straub and Stephen King wrote it, and each one wrote one guy do one chapter, the next guy would do the other chapter. And they just were bouncing it off of each other, and they they made a fucking badass story together about a kid who could jump into another dimension by drinking his magic potion. And in that other dimension, it's kind of like this dimension, but it's a little bit different. And he got over there. He made friends with a fucking teenage werewolf. And they were trying to get to this fucking place where they had a talisman they had to secure. And for every mile you had to walk, they had to do it on foot. They didn't have a car. Every mile you walked on this fucking dimension, in another dimension, it was only like a quarter of a mile. So you could cover more distance if you were in the other dimension. But that other dimension was dangerous. You know, it had monsters and shit in it. And weird things like an orphanage or a school. I think it was an orphanage. An orphanage in this dimension was, in another dimension, was a pit going to hell with demons making people fucking mind things and shit. It was fucking bizarre. They had I don't remember if it was werewolf soldiers or gorilla soldiers with Uzis and weird shit, man. It was a good story. Wow.
High Desert said, I want to see Revival made into a film just for the Lovecraftian ending. That would be a great... See, okay, now if anybody wants to do a Stephen King adaptation that has not been done, somebody do Revival. That book was great. And that was like I want to say it was one of his newer ones. It's not that new nowadays. I think it came out in 2014. But I just picked it up like in a used bookstore, a hardback, for like $6 or something. And I was just like, man, I haven't even heard about this one. And I read it, and it's fantastic. It's kind of like Frankenstein, but like with Ray Bradbury. But then it's just kind of like almost like it's not really coming of age, but it's kind of like a guy that he's kind of growing up and he's got problems with drugs and he's in a band and all this other kind of stuff. But then like he meets this guy who's kind of a pastor when he's a kid. But he's fascinated by like electricity. But then like when he meets him later on, like he works at this carnival and he's got all this crazy like electric kind of stuff going on. But yeah, it's a really, really cool book. It's really cool. Let's see. Some people showing up. They're talking about Kevin says Creepshow creeped me out when I saw it back in the 80s. The raft one was great. Yeah, that was actually from Creepshow 2.
Yeah.
That was the best story in Creepshow 2, I thought.
Short story.
Yeah. The first Creepshow is probably my favorite horror anthology of all time. Like I've also seen that like 100 times. And that was Stephen King and George Romero. Now, Stephen King, he wrote stories specifically for that movie. You know what I mean? Whereas the second one was, well, The Raft was a story that existed prior to that movie. But in the first Creepshow, he wrote everything specifically for that movie. And they specifically wrote them in the style of EC Comics, because both him and George Romero were super into those. And the second one is really good, but I think it suffered from, one, only having 3 stories, whereas the first one had 5, plus kind of the small wraparound. And I think the second one didn't have as much as that cool comic book look to it, you know? Because, like, the first one had all these, like, saturated colors and, like, all the page-turning kind of stuff. Like they do on the new show, like, that's on Shudder that Greg Nicotero is doing. They kind of do more of that where they have, like, drawings and they turn in pages and stuff. But they didn't really do that as much in the second one, which was kind of a bummer. But what are you going to do? I feel like there's a whole... like I said, he's written so much shit that hasn't been adapted. Why are people, like, adapting the same stuff of his, like, over and over again?
Hollywood does.
I guess just because of the name recognition.
Yeah, Hollywood does name recognition. Oh, well, let's reboot this. So it's one of the reasons why they're failing so badly. I mean, we had fucking we have a really good theater fucking and we had this fucking Stubs program where we could see 3 movies a week, which is more movies than you actually want to see a week.
Yeah, it was like $20 a month.
$20 a month.
And you could see 3 movies a week for free. Yeah. And every time you went to a movie, you got points. Yeah. And after a couple weeks, you'd get like $5 off. So you could get like free candy and shit like that. It was a good deal, actually.
Yeah, and you could fucking go and see it in the Dolby Theater or
it didn't matter. You could see 3D, you could see anything.
And
it wasn't extra.
Because we worked from home, we would go during the day when it was dead, and we'd have the theaters all to ourselves. For years we did that shit. And most of those movies that we saw were fucking schlock. I just forgot all about them.
Or it's like they were okay at the time, but they didn't really stick with you.
And then they don't stick with you. There's really only like maybe about 4 or 5 movies a year that would stick with you. You go, yeah, that was a good one.
Although I kind of feel like that's true.
Yeah.
All the time. Because I see lots and lots of movies.
Yeah.
Particularly horror movies. And whether they're old ones or new ones, like I see a lot of them and sometimes I'll like them at the time. But then like a month or 2 later, I'm like, wait, did I see that?
Recently it was Heretic, The Substance, Nosferatu. What else was fucking really good?
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
Man, I fucking love that movie.
What else?
I picked that as my favorite movie of 2024.
Past year or so. That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. Well, because I'm trying to think, like, because I did a video of, like, my top 20 horror movies
I'm talking about
from last year.
I'm talking about what we saw in the theater.
Oh, that we saw in the theater?
Saw in the theater, yeah. That's about it. A lot of the other shit was okay. You maybe enjoyed it when you watched it, but it didn't stick with you.
Right.
You'd forget about it.
It was funny because a couple times for a while, like for the matinee, now we just do it once a week and we just pick whatever movie. But for a while, because we had that Stubbs thing, and we used to, to be fair, we used to live a lot closer to the theater. Now it's kind of far. So we, it's kind of a pain to go there 3 times a week.
What's the name of that theater again?
What, AMC?
AMC.
It's AMC at
they're real nice theaters
at Altamont Mall.
Yeah.
But and it's big, and it's usually like pretty crowded because the mall over there is not a dead mall by any stretch of the imagination. It's very crowded. But so we would go, and so because we always wanted to see something different, there was maybe only 1 or 2 movies a month that we were super jacked about seeing, and then like the rest of the time we ended up seeing like schmaltzy dog movies and like and I was gonna say
Burn
animated
Down
stuff.
Stage.
Yeah, we saw that movie about not BTK.
K-pop.
that K-pop band.
K-pop.
We ended up seeing that. We ended up seeing like a lot of animated stuff, which is fine. Actually, those were probably some of the better ones.
There was some lame shit that was kind of indie type films that did kind of stick with me though. The Intruder.
We've talked about that a lot.
Okay.
Too. Like I said, it was like a Lifetime movie writ large, and I kind of loved that about it.
And then the kid that gets sent to the Pray the Gay Way camp. That was a good fucking flick.
I liked that movie.
That was a good flick. And it was just a budget.
It was based on a true story.
Based on a true story, that's what made it good.
Yeah. I think Nicole Kidman was in that, wasn't she? Wasn't Nicole Kidman in that?
Maybe.
What's it called? It was called Boy something.
Boy Interrupted? No, Boy.
That was Girl Interrupted.
Boy something or other.
With the mental hospital with Angelina
Zach,
Jolie.
man, I got Zach, got Victor here, got all the gays here. They don't know that fucking movie. It's about the fucking gay kid who gets his parents send him to fucking Pray the Gay Away camp.
It was called Boy something or something.
It was good.
It had boy in it.
It was good, yeah.
But I remember really liking it.
Yeah, so his adventures at Pray the Gay Away camp. And then all the characters that he ran into. And then at the end of the movie, it tells you what happened to them all.
Yeah.
And like the main dude that was trying to get at the camp, that was trying to get him to pray the gay away, ended up leaving the church and got married to a dude.
Of course.
Yeah, he was gay.
Because why do they worry that much
It was gay Christians running the gay.
Boy Erased.
Boy Erased.
Thank you. Right. I knew it was Boy
Erased.
Boy Erased.
That's right. It's a good movie.
I liked that a lot.
Very entertaining.
I read that.
And that's like something I wouldn't pay to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have gone to see that if it hadn't been free.
Yeah.
But I ended up really liking it.
Yeah. Like it was, like in retrospect, I would have paid to see that.
Yeah. But we just happened to see it for free.
Just happened to see it for free. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were just like looking for stuff to
fill
out the week's quota. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, see it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It's very entertaining.
I mean, they've done movies about Pray the Gay Away camp. Wasn't that movie? But I'm a cheerleader. Like kind of about that, but more from the lesbian angle. But that was kind of more like a black comedy. That was also very good. But that was many years prior.
Yeah.
That was maybe 90s or early 2000s. Papa77 says, I remember the movie The Gate messed me up a little when I was young. I always feel like, because I'm on a lot of horror groups, like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And every now and then, some people that are in there are, my age or a little bit younger, and they have kids. And they're like, look, I'm looking to get my kids into horror. So I want some good movies to show them that are horror adjacent, but aren't going to traumatize them for life or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to show them Human Centipede or a Serbian film or anything like that. Like, don't do that. But The Gate is almost always one of the first ones that I recommend. The Gate, Monster Squad, anything like that, because, ones from the 80s I kind of feel like are usually good, but there's a lot of really good ones. Lady in White, that's another one from the 80s that is kind of more, it's got upsetting themes in it, but it's still kind of kid friendly. Like, it's not too, it's set in the 60s, so there's not like a lot of gore or nudity or anything like that. But The Gate is a really good one, because actually for like a little kid, I think that came in at 87, and it's kind of, the main characters are kind of kids or tweens, and it's scary, but not so scary that it's gonna give them nightmares. I feel like Unless they're real sensitive. I don't really know.
Kevin says he hadn't seen Point Erased. He wants to see it. Okay, yeah. You'll enjoy it. It's what I liked about it is that it was based on a true story, and and you have these Christian parents, you know, who love their kid. They think they're doing the right thing.
They're a little misguided.
Yeah, they think they're going to do the right thing.
Way.
They can send him to the pray the gay away camp. And that's the beginning of the adventure.
Spoiler alert, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Oh, God. And then you know,
it never
talks
works.
about everything that happens at the camp and fucking all the weird shit. And it was just kind of like a fun adventure, you know what I mean? Like, damn. And it was really all about nothing. Nothing happens, you know what I mean? Nobody.
Yeah, it's a drama kind of with like some comedic elements.
Yeah, nothing. You know, nobody gets killed or anything. It's just based on a real case. It's just it was just entertaining. It was funny. Just, you know, kind of see it from the point of view of this kid, what he has to go through.
Zach says,
and it was kind of like something. It's almost kind of like, don't expect a big budget movie.
Yeah,
kind of like a made for TV Lifetime type movie, something like that.
Excuse me.
But it was interesting. It stuck with me.
Yeah, like I said,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting a lot from it, even though I like those kind of movies probably a lot more than you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up liking that a lot. Kevin says, have you ever read Laird Barron? I have not, but I keep meaning to, because I know that Lovecraft was really inspired by him. Yeah, one of the best weird fiction authors in the last 20 years. They did an adaptation of one of his movies called They Remain, but it wasn't that good. His occultation book was great. Yeah, I keep meaning to get into that, but I just haven't done it yet. Zach says, I'd love to see you guys review that Bette Midler movie, The Rose. It's so fucking good.
I remember that.
I saw it when I was younger, but I don't remember that much about it. I remember liking it, but I haven't.
I remember the trailers for it when I was a little kid. That came out a long time ago.
Philmeto Nosferatu says, Jenny, I just saw an interesting Valentine's Day slasher the other day called Lover's Lane from 1999. Les from WKRP was in it. I have never heard of that movie. I'm going to write that down. Because, man, Valentine's Day is next week, so we probably need to... Yeah. I mean, we've already done My Bloody Valentine. Yeah. We've done Valentine from 2001 or whenever the fuck that came out. Like I said, unless we go to the theater and see Hard Eyes, which I do kind of want to see. But, I don't know. I'll write that down. Lover's Lane, 1999. Because I don't think I've ever heard of that. Joseph says, The Craft is a good mild horror movie. Yeah, that's another one. I kind of feel like you might... Maybe that one's for, like, slightly older. The Gate, I think you could watch if you were, like, 8-ish. 8, 9. You know what I mean? Because it's scary, but it's not. Because, man, I don't know. It's like, I know all kids are different, but, man, I loved scary shit when I was a kid. Like, sometimes it would give me nightmares and stuff, but I liked that. I dug that. So I wasn't really bothered by really scary shit. But I know some kids are, you know? And I know, like, sometimes you don't want them seeing, like, you know, heads blowing up and shit like that. I get it. Yeah, Papa said, remember, I'm about 6 years younger than you guys. Yeah. Yeah, a couple people are also... Yeah, Papa says, gee, Jenny, thanks for calling me out as a wuss. LOL. I don't remember... I guess because I was a little bit older when I saw The Gate. Because I was... How old was I in 1987? I was 15. So, you know, I was older than the target audience, perhaps. So, I think it's a good movie for kids, like if you're trying to get kids into horror. But I could see how it would scare a little kid too, like if they were real little. Let me see. Hi Desert says Caitlin R. Kiernan is another good writer. Yeah, her stuff is really good. I've actually reviewed a couple of her books. I know I did Silk, and I might have also done The Red Tree, but I don't remember. Because I know I have that around here somewhere. But I don't remember if I reviewed it. But I'm pretty sure I reviewed Silk, though. Like on my other channel. CB said Lover's Lane is fantastic. And let me see. Hold on. Phantom said, y'all never reviewed My Bloody Valentine 3D, which is more violent and bloody and has nudity. But was that the remake? We didn't do the remake, that's true. I think we did the original from 81 or whenever that came out. I just said I remember in the 80s those reform-style camps were very popular. Yeah, I guess some of them are still around, but... I saw a documentary on Netflix or something, and it wasn't a Pray the Gay Away camp necessarily, but it was a real religious one, and it was one if your kids were, like, troubled, or were doing shit that your parents didn't like, but it was just, like, real innocuous kind of shit. So I kind of feel like there was maybe some Pray the Gay Away in there, too. But these camps, they would basically, like, they would come and, like, kidnap your kid. Like, with the parents' sanction.
Yeah.
They'd show up in the middle of the night.
Where did we see that?
It was on Netflix, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And,
it was a program that your parents would send you to.
Yeah, so they'd come in your house, and they would, like, they would even do shit like put a hood over your head and, like, throw you in a van.
They'd abduct you like you were a fucking terrorist. They'd take you to basically like a reform school.
Yeah.
But it was like these 24-hour-a-day seminars where they're just beating shit into your head, repetition, the brainwashing camp. They're just breaking people. And I don't understand how the staff got away with it.
Yeah, I don't know either. That just seems like right.
And the staff that was doing it, the whole thing was a hoax, really. Nobody was qualified to do what they were doing.
Of course not.
It was just
they're
something
Christians.
Totally
they don't
made
need
up.
Qualifications.
Yeah. And I think the dude that even and the guy that even started the camp, I don't even think he was a Christian, was he? Wasn't he more like just a fake Christian trying to make a bunch of money off of Christians?
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. He was just kind of a swindler more than anything else.
Aren't they all? But yeah, dude, a lot of those are kind of like that. You know what I mean? They're just like trying to make money and
yeah, it's like, a dude that would be like in multi-level marketing scams first for a while. Because didn't he have a background in other shit like that?
Something like that, yeah. It was the
pyramid schemes and shit.
I can't remember the name of the... It's not old. Like, we just saw it like a year ago or so. But I can't remember the name of it. Because it was a bunch of the kids that had been there, like they were grown now.
Yeah.
And they were talking about... The place has been shut down, but they went back there and they were like talking about it.
Yeah, and the classrooms were still there and all the fucking paperwork and shit was
they were
there.
like digging through the paperwork and stuff and found some shit about themselves. And it's like, it was crazy.
Yeah. And it was all just made up shit. And they got away with it because the parents allowed it.
Yeah.
And they were minors. So parents can basically sign the kid away into an institution like this.
I can't imagine doing that to my fucking child.
If you're a minor.
That's crazy.
And the parents had no idea, really, of how bad it was. They were just fucking being duped because they were pious. They believed that, well, because religion's involved, so it must be okay. But they didn't really know what was going on. I always
feel like exactly
They didn't really know. They didn't really know what was going on in there.
Religion's involved. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like that.
That's gonna go badly.
Oh, they're good Christians. They're just getting Jesus into them, type of deal. No, they were basically brainwashing them, torturing them through repetition. It was the same shit you do at a cult.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Very culty. So,
like a communist cult where they're sitting there fucking guilting them and making them repeat shit over and over again.
It wasn't like. I don't think... I mean, there was some physical abuse. It wasn't as bad as some other stories that I've heard about places like that, like this particular place, but it still wasn't great. Like I said, if you're starting out from a point where it's like, oh, I want my kids to be kidnapped in the middle of the night, like a terrorist,
it's supposed to be like a scared straight. It would be like a scared straight type deal.
Why would you do that to your fucking child?
And they were doing it to kids that really weren't that much of a problem.
And that's what I mean. Like, all the kids, these weren't like hardened criminals or anything like that. Like, oh, this kid's like a heroin addict or they're stealing cars or anything like that.
We found him with a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, it was like it was shit like that.
Yeah.
Or we found she was kissing a girl. It was like it was stupid shit. Yeah. It was like nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shit that fucking. One, isn't a crime. Two, kids do that shit and they fucking outgrow it, or it doesn't matter, or fucking
holy crap! I was like a goody two shoes, and I did worse shit than they did.
I started smoking when I was in high school. Eventually, I quit.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
It's not that.
My parents couldn't say anything. My parents couldn't say anything though. They were both smokers.
Yeah.
So
my dad.
And I was in Brazil at the time. Everybody smoked.
Yeah.
We knew it was bad for you. We just didn't realize how bad.
Well, because it takes a long time.
It takes a long time, yeah.
Manifest. And then when you get older, you're like, fuck, man. Why
yeah. You got short-term thinking at the time when you're a teenager.
Joseph says, I think the first horror movie I saw as a kid were the Roger Corman Vincent Price movies, like The Pit and the Pendulum. I still submit that those are the best Roger Corman movies. Those were great. I love all of those. Probably Pit and the Pendulum was good, but what do you call it? What is the one that's my favorite one? What was that fucking Edgar Allan Poe story called? Mask of the Red Death. That was my favorite one, because I love how they had like all the multicolored rooms and stuff. I thought that was so cool. But I don't remember. The first horror movie I saw was probably the first one I remember was Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, which scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. But then I saw it later. I'm like, wow, that's not scary at all. It's like a zombie movie. You know what I mean?
Full Metal Nosferatu says, Tom, another movie I saw on Tubi you might dig, Hell Ride with Michael Madsen.
Ooh, Michael Madsen. David Carradine. And Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, yeah. I
I'll
remember The Gate, I was 13.
The Gate is so good.
Yeah.
They made a sequel, too, which was also pretty good. But that's on Tubi. Okay, I'm going to write that down. I mean, like I said, I always take recommendations for horror movies and stuff. Because, I try to see stuff, but a lot of stuff falls through the cracks, you know?
Yeah.
High Desert said, torture porn is ultimately very boring unless you make it funny, too, like the Terrifier movies. Yeah, after a while, I don't mind some of the torture porn movies. I didn't mind Saw, I didn't mind Hostel, I didn't mind those. They didn't bother me all that much. But, yeah, after a while, it just gets kind of tedious. You know what I mean? You're like, ooh, yeah, okay. Pulling out the fingernails, pulling people's tongues out, doing this, like all this just crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And I think the thing about them is, like you said, they're not funny. Like, the Terrifier movies are funny. And they're so over the top that you can't really take them seriously. You know what I mean? Which I think makes them better. But I don't know. I kind of feel like the torture porn thing, I like some of those movies, but I think some of them are a little try-hard. You know what I mean? Because they're just trying to be like, ooh, this is so disturbing. I can't, you know what I mean? And I don't really like that edgelordy kind of shit. So I think that's kind of what bothered me about it. Yeah, Victor's saying that's like 99% of Christians, like all the grifting and stuff. That's, yeah. Like I said, as soon as somebody says religion is involved, I don't want any part of it. No thanks. No thanks. That's a no for me. SideQuest here said, Papa, you're not a wuss. I didn't call you a wuss. I really didn't. I'm here, and you couldn't pay me to watch horror. Mostly, anyway. My bar stops at particularly upsetting thriller. Why am I here? I don't fucking know. I don't remember how I got here. Some people don't like horror, and that's okay. I'm not generally bothered by it. Honestly, I like to get bothered by it, but I very rarely do. But the things that bother me in horror are not necessarily what other people might be bothered by. Like I said, Hereditary fucked me up. And a movie had not done that for a very, very long time. And it wasn't because it's super graphic or it's super anything. There was just something about it that got to me. And
you see, that one didn't have much of an effect on me.
That's what I mean. But see, there's kind of like two camps. But that one like fucked me up. Like, it really bothered me.
What I liked more was there was something kind of related to that. It was a movie called Midsummer.
Well, yeah, it's the same director.
Yeah, I liked that one. Didn't really fuck me up. It was good folk horror, kind of like Wicker Man, you know. And I liked that one better. I have that. I have both of those movies.
Yeah.
On Blu-ray.
I like a movie to fuck me up. I like horror. That's what I want. I want it to do that.
Side quest. Some of the shit that we're talking about, like Stephen King stuff, his stories. Some of that's just not really horror, if you ask me. Like Firestarter didn't really seem like a horror movie, like a horror story to me.
That was more like a conspiracy thriller.
Yeah, more like a thriller, an action movie with paranormal stuff in it.
Which, yeah, that's okay.
And so a lot of it's like that. You know, the Stand is like that. There's some fucking weird shit that happens in it, you know, paranormal stuff. So if you want to see horror, you want to see some Stephen King type stuff first.
Yeah, because even though he's primarily a horror author, he writes in a lot of different genres, and some of his stuff isn't straightforward horror. Some of it is like psychological horror or drama with horror elements.
And most of his stuff is not like graphic in terms of like violence. And the movies, they don't have a lot of gore in them or something, you know.
Yeah,
Most of them don't have.
Not really.
Some do, but it's usually not that bad. It's not like Saw or something. You know?
Right, or like I said, or like Hostel, which is
Yeah.
just like straight ahead people being tortured
Right.
for like an hour and a half, you know? But I don't know. Like I said, other than Hereditary, I think the only recent movie that I've seen that also kind of fucked me up was that Spanish movie, The Coffee Table. And that's like not... That movie, I couldn't even sit through it in one sitting. It was stressing me out so badly. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching it. Tom didn't watch it, but I watched it in here. And I got about 20, 30 minutes, and I was like, it's too much. I had to, like, get up and, like, walk around. It was stressing me out, like, really, really bad. And like I said, it's not graphic. It's just the situation that happens in it is so stressful that it was, like, overwhelming me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the stress of the situation. Because I could imagine... Because it's a realistic... It could happen. Like, the situation that happened in it. And I was like, imagine if that really happened. And it's almost... And it's like a black comedy, too. But it's very, very, very dark comedy. Very dark comedy.
Side quest, if you saw Wicker Man, you need to see Midsummer. It's similar. It's folk horror.
It does have some graphic bits in it.
Yeah, but it's not that bad, though.
It's not that bad, but there are bits in it that
it's wild,
that are
though.
kind of graphic.
It's about the story about these students. I think they're anthropology students or something, or they're religious students. Do you remember? They're some kind of anthropology students.
They're like studying the customs.
They're studying the customs of these fucking cults. And they go somewhere. I don't remember if it's fucking Norway or Sweden or something.
Yeah, I think it's Sweden or Norway.
Yeah, somewhere like that. They go up there to go study this group of people that are practicing ancient folk religions, Nordic type shit, with witchcraft involved in it. And they go there to study it. There's probably about 5 or 6 of them. And as they're there, man, it gets weirder and weirder. They're finding all these weird beliefs and weird shit happens to them. And some of them break rules and they end up fucking getting killed because the people in the village decide to sacrifice them. It's pretty fucking bizarre. It's got fucking Florence, what's her name in it? The one from Fighting With My Family. She's in it. She pretty much stars in it. You guys know who I'm talking about. Little Florence. Little bitty girl, big head. Pretty. Got her name. And, but it kind of reminded me of Wicker Man, but more intense. It also kind of has some crossover with Hereditary. You know, kind of black magic, witchcraft type stuff. What's that girl's name? Florence what?
Pugh.
Florence Pugh, that's right. She's in it.
Her and her big head.
Her and her big little head.
Her big little head.
Yeah, her big little head.
I call that Tom's girlfriend. That's Tom's.
It's my movie girlfriend.
That's his movie girlfriend.
I don't know what it was. I just saw a bunch of movies with her in it. And she kept appearing, and I go, man, I like that girl. She's a good actress.
She's in some new because I keep seeing a promo on. I think it's on HBO Max for some new like romance.
Yeah.
Like it's a rom-com. Not a rom-com or something.
It didn't look like my kind of movie.
No, I don't like
But
rom-coms either.
she starred in Fighting With My Family, where she did a story of fucking that little goth fucking wrestler girl. What was her name? Fucking
Paige.
Paige, yeah. She plays Paige in it, and it was great because it's happening here in Orlando, Florida, and she's running around all places me and Jen used to pass all the time going downtown.
Yeah.
Because she leaves England to come to Florida to learn how to join WWE. The Rock's in it. It's a good flick. I own it on Blu-ray, and there's like an extended cut. The extended cut's even better than the theatrical cut. And then, so I thought she was great in that. And then we saw Hereditary, and then Jan took me to see Midsummer, and she was in it.
Yeah.
And she's playing a totally different role in kind of this folk horror movie. It's good, really good.
Man, Midsommar was really good. Well, like I said, it's crazy to me that Ari Aster did Hereditary and Midsommar, because there's a couple of similarities, but they're really really different. I still have not seen Beau is Afraid, which is his newest-ish one, because It's not really a horror movie, but I'm not entirely sure what genre. But I'll get around to it, like, because that one seemed very divisive. Like, people were either like they loved it or they thought it was the stupidest thing ever. So, but I'll get around to it one of these days. Kevin says Adam Neville is great too. I agree. The Ritual was pretty good adaptation. Haven't read all the Fiends of Hell. Honestly, I did a review. I did a video. I think it was over on my Scare Salon channel where I compared the Adam Neville book of The Ritual to the movie. And that's another case where, honestly, the book is good. I think the movie was better. I liked the book up until the ending. Up until, if you haven't read the book, where he meets the death metal teenagers. Yeah. Then it just kind of went downhill, the book. They left all of that out of the movie, and I think that was a good decision.
Tanya Marie's here with us from she's a Norwegian from Norway. She
said
she doesn't know anything about that. Remember, that's the same girl, she was here last week.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. And no, Tanya, you need to see that movie. Midsummer, with an O, summer.
Yeah.
Midsommar. Yeah, with Florence Pugh.
It's daylit horror, which is a lot harder to do.
Yeah, it happens in broad daylight, all this fucking shit.
Pretty much.
And they at one point they grabbed some kid because he pissed on their ancestral tree. They grab his ass, and he disappears. You end up fighting him later. You end up finding him later. They got him strung up over a little indoor garden and shit, and they've given him the blood wings, which is the Vikings used to fucking cut a hole in people's backs and pull their fucking lungs out. So they'd have these wings. They gave him the blood wings, and he's barely alive. And I guess he's fucking fertilizing the plants somehow. All kinds of weird shit happens in the movie. Fertility rituals, self-sacrifice, sharing food in weird ways. It's fucking bizarre. Drugs. And they're real kind of like Nordic. You know, wearing all white robes and living communally, having sex communally. It's bizarre. I loved it though. It's kind of like it was folk horror.
It's definitely folk horror.
Yeah, kind of like Wicker Man. The good Wicker Man, not the fucking bad Wicker Man.
Not the one with Nicolas
Cage.
Which was entertaining.
Actually, I want to see it again.
In its own right.
I want to give it another chance.
But not for the reasons they intended.
The bees!
You know what I mean? Honestly, if you have not seen, speaking of folk horror, if you have not seen the amazing, exhaustive, 3+ hour documentary, which is called Woodlands, I think it's called Woodlands Deep, Woodlands Dark, and Days Bewitched, something like that. A history of folk horror. It used to be on Shudder, but it's not anymore. But if you have Amazon Prime, it's on there. And I just rewatched it probably last week, and man, it's so good. If you're like into folk horror, it's super, super exhaustive, man. They cover everything. And they cover like a bunch of movies that I hadn't heard of, and I made this big long list like the first time that I watched it. High Desert said, true story. I took a friend to see Midsommar. A year ago, her son had committed suicide. She said she would be okay as long as there wasn't a suicide in the movie. Yeah, I told her I didn't know, and oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. That's not really the best movie to take somebody to if they're in that kind of place. You know? I kind of feel like, I don't know, that's probably kind of the same if... That'd be like if somebody's kid died and you took him to see Hereditary, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's kid died in a car accident
Camp
or
Guy's
something.
defending the Nick Cage fucking Wicker Man. I remember enjoying it at the time, but it wasn't the same as the old one.
It's not remotely
I want to see
same.
it again. Like I said, I want to see it again and give it a second chance. It might be cool, you know.
Maybe we should review that. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time either. But the thing about it is the original Wicker Man, because I love folk horror, and the original Wicker Man is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I kind of feel like when they did it, I kind of liked the idea behind it, but then I was like, man, it just, I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, man, it just felt like they shit all over it, and I was mad.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Tanya said that she'd seen it.
Yeah.
That she'd seen Midsommar, said nothing about it was real.
Well, no.
It's a horror movie. Yeah. And it wasn't supposed to be a realistic portrayal. I don't remember what country it was supposed to be in.
And it was like some tiny little isolated.
It was a tiny little isolated
place.
cult.
Yeah.
And
they were studying the beliefs of this particular. Like it wasn't
cult.
anything to do with
right,
the main.
Yeah. It didn't have anything to do with any kind of mainstream.
The main culture of the
no.
country or anything.
It was a weird religious cult.
Yeah.
That was doing that.
Yeah, I just said my friend was from Sweden. That's why I took her. I thought she could explain it to me, but it backfired. Oh, there's just like so much. The reason that Ari Aster is like such an amazing filmmaker, and this happened in Hereditary too, is man, you have to watch those movies like 10 times. There's so much stuff like going on in the background, like all the symbolism and like all this kind of shit that he puts in there. Like Hereditary was like that too. I for real like watched. There's a documentary on YouTube that somebody made, and it's like 3 or 4 hours long, and they went into every single thing that was like in the background of Hereditary, like all of the symbolism and like all of the hidden shit that was in there, and it's just mind blowing that he thought to put all that stuff in there. And the same thing happened with Midsommar. Like he had everything all in the background, and I love that. Victor, my aunt was eaten by a shark when she was 7. My grandpa went to see Jaws because he didn't know what it was about. I mean, I'm not really I understand that people there are certain things in movies that people don't want to see. I would prefer to know beforehand if there's gonna be like animal cruelty, even fake, in a movie. You know what I mean? But if I see it coming, I can just be like, man, I'm just not going to watch that because it kind of bothers me. But honestly, I don't really get that bothered by stuff in movies. It'll make me think of stuff, and sometimes it'll, like, you know, make me feel things, but I don't get too bothered by it. Because I'm like, the movie isn't intentionally trying to, like, piss me off or get me into my feelings or anything. It's just...
Got a new person named Guitar Girl just showing up saying, how are we tonight?
She's been here before.
You missed most of the show. Oh, really? Okay. I didn't notice that. I didn't recognize that name.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kevin says, Starve Acre with Matt Smith is supposed to be a good folk horror, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it either, actually. I need to see more stuff. Like, after I saw that documentary that I mentioned a year or two ago, whenever I first saw it, like, I wrote down and I watched a bunch of those movies that I hadn't seen before, because they do go into, like, a lot of ones from other countries, too, which is cool, because I hadn't seen a lot of those. Like, the first part of it mostly is concerned with British horror, obviously, Wicker Man and Blood on Satan's Claw and all that kind of stuff, but they go into, like, some more obscure shit, too. But then they go into, like, stuff from all different countries, and I thought that was, like, really cool. Like, so they do a really deep dive. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff that I saw some of them, but I need to get around to some of them. Zach said, like I said, Hereditary made me cry at least 3 times the first time I watched it. My God. Yeah, there was just something about it that really got to me. Like I said, and I think I mentioned this before, I saw a review of it not too long after it came out in theaters, like in 2018. And the person called it emotional terrorism. And I said, yeah, that's a good description for what that is. That's a good description for what that is. It's just trying to make you feel as bad as possible. Which, like I said, I respect that. I kind of feel like there's a subgenre of movies like feel-bad cinema.
I fell asleep during it.
And if I'm in the mood, I like that. Another movie along those lines is Speak No Evil, not the remake that they just made, the original one, which is Dutch, I think. That was another one that was like super, super grim and like feel bad, but I loved it. But man,
I fell asleep during Hereditary in the theater.
I know.
But we watched it again and I liked it. Every time I saw it, I liked it a little bit more. But I didn't really like it at first. I didn't know where it was going. And I'm not real patient when it comes to, where you can't really leave me hanging for too long. Not unless you got some really interesting fucking premise going on. Mindset has a lot to do with it too. I may have not been in the right mindset for it when I went in to see the movie. But there's no telling what I'll like.
Yeah, you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Like Jen took me to see The Art of Self-Defense. And she didn't think I was going to like that.
I thought you would hate it.
I fucking loved it. It's one of my favorite movies. Because I understood it.
Yeah.
I understood where the dude was coming from.
I thought it was great, but I thought he would
It's
hate
a masterpiece. No, it's a fucking masterpiece, yeah. And fucking, Vivarium too had the same actors in there. Fucking Eisenberg and that girl.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Just
and
that
Imogene Poots.
Yeah. Fucking. If you see them on a project, it's probably gonna be a pretty good movie.
High Desert said, I just assume any movie made before the 90s has animal cruelty in it. They not all of them do, but an alarming amount of them do. And honestly, if they're Italian, then it's probably real.
See a side quest.
So, I watched a movie the other day, and it was a Giallo movie. And it was one of the lesser known ones. I can't remember what one it was. It was one of the ones on Shudder. And just in the middle of it, for no reason at all, there was a scene where they just, killed a pig. Because why not? And, slowly. And I was like, this did not need to be in here. It didn't have anything to do with the plot or anything. You know what I mean? It was, just as egregious as the shit in Cannibal Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, see you later, side quest. I'm glad you could join us for most of the evening. But yeah, anytime I see a horror movie, and there's a cat or a dog, and the camera lingers on it, I'm like, uh-oh, the animal's not gonna make it. Or it doesn't even have to be. Remember when we watched that one, the haunted house one that we watched a couple weeks back with Beau Bridges? Not the last one, but the one before. Yeah. And remember that cockatoo was in there. I was like, oh, that cockatoo's not gonna make it. But the cockatoo made it, because I was like, they made a big deal of it. Yeah. It's like, oh, the cockatoo's making the noise and stuff. I'm like, that cockatoo's going to get killed. The ghost's going to kill that bird. But he didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's good.
Well, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think I got pizza left over downstairs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We do.
Yeah.
Tom's
always going for almost 2.5 hours.
Thinking about food.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. High Desert said, I'm not sure, but I think Ari Aster said he won't make any more horror movies. That's a bummer. Like I said, I know the latest one that he made, Beau is Afraid, is not really a horror movie, and though it was kind of weird, but that kind of sucks. I mean, he's so good at it.
He'll make another one.
He probably will.
Yeah.
He probably will. I mean, him and fucking Robert Eggers and all those dudes, man. They're making some good shit.
About Mia Goth's fucking 3 movies.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't direct them, obviously.
Yeah, but those ones, they were all good.
Maxine is on HBO Max now, if you have that. What's Monday's review? I have no idea yet. I don't know. Maybe one of the ones you guys mentioned. Like I said, we might do a Valentine's Day adjacent one, because Valentine's Day is for next Friday.
Yeah.
Actually, Memento is next Friday, too.
Yeah.
So it'll be Valentine's Day and Memento Mori. It'll be a whole thing. Tammy said Tom never wants to hang with us anymore. He's just so
he's so
interested in pizza.
Yeah.
We did have this really good pizza. He made pizza earlier.
I think there's some left.
And mine he made with tomatoes just out of the garden.
Yep. Tomatoes and herbs out of the garden.
Yeah, so good. Kevin says, I love Asian horror movies. Ringu, Cairo, Cure, Ju-on. Yeah, honestly, other than... I did like The Ring, the Gore Verbinski American remake, better than the Asian original. But other than that, I think the Asian originals are always better. Cure is great.
They're always hit and miss.
Pulse is great. A lot of those are really, really good. Kevin says, interested to see The Monkey. Yeah, I'm kind of into that too. Because it's based on a Stephen King story. And it's Osgood Perkins, the same guy that did Longlegs. And it looks weird as shit, and I'm down.
Yeah.
Well,
Longlegs is pretty weird.
I think Longlegs, that was probably the only Oz Perkins movie that you saw.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I
didn't mention that one, though. That one didn't stick with me. But it was pretty good.
I saw... Because he made one called The Blackcoat's Daughter, which is great. And he made another one called I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, which I think is only available on Netflix, and it might not be on there anymore. And I fucking loved that movie. It was a low-key ghost story, and it was super creepy. And I think I fucking reviewed it a while back, but I feel like nobody talks about it anymore, and that's a big shame, you know? Heidi said Robert Eggers is going to make a werewolf movie next. That should be great. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, Victor's excited about The Monkey, too. The trailer looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to be really good. So, I'm kind of hyped for that one too. Victor said, Jenny, have you read God of the Woods? It's my next read. No, I haven't read it yet. I need to do a book review soon because I haven't done one in a little while. I think the last book reviews I did were like a Christmas one, like before the end of last year. Let's see. Phantom says, Route 666 as Monday's review. It's a ghost zombie film starring Lou Diamond Phillips, Dale Midkiff, who was in the original Pet Sematary,
Lou Diamond Phillips,
and Lori Petty. It's pretty good. Wasn't Lori Petty in Tank Girl? Wasn't that Tank Girl?
I don't know.
I think it was. But yeah,
terrible movie.
I'll write that down. What, Tank Girl?
Tank Girl's terrible. Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember kind of liking it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's been like I don't think I've seen it since the 90s. I was like, yeah, that's kind of fun. All right, so we are going to wrap it up for this evening. Hopefully you guys had fun hanging out with us. Thank you for all the super chats this evening and all of the cool discussion about horror movies, which is, you know, my favorite topic to talk about. So yeah, have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll be back on Monday for a movie review. We'll decide what movie we want to do like over the weekend as we usually do. So yeah, have a good time this weekend, and we will see you guys again on Monday night. Good night.